America.
Yo, what's going on? This is the youngest in charge, Leon Slater, and you're listening to the Sports Jedi Network. You get me?
You're watching Jedi Sports Network with Kev.
I'm Tom Hannafin from TNA Wrestling. You're watching the Jedi Sports Network.
Tune in to Heel of the Ring podcast on the Sports Jedi Network channel. May the sports be with you.
What's up, Kevin? It's me, Miles Bourne. I just wanted to come on here real quick and say thank you for your support. I really appreciate it, and the fact that you're there every Tuesday really means a lot to me.
Hey guys, this is Elena Black, and you are watching Sports Jedi Network.
This is AJ Francis, and you're with Sports Jedi Network.
Going on, everyone? What is going on? Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to all who are listening and watching along with us. Want to thank all the men and women in the service industry, whether they're defending our nation from sea to signing sea, from border to borders, all our men and women that are also serving as firefighters, rescue, EMTs. Thank you so much for all those freedoms. And, of course, Coast Guards and the men and women in the hospitals, because I know that today the fireworks, and that's going to be a really important day. So it is America 250, and we are here doing This Week in Wrestling. We're going to talk our weekly approach. I'm going to go around the horn and say hello to my co-host, the Sports Jedis, the one and only PGH Chris. Good afternoon, friend.
Happy 250, America. America. Shout out to Joey Chestnut for being the GOAT on this day, like he is every single year. Let's talk about some wrestling here on Independence Day. I'm excited. Shout out to everybody here watching, and hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoy your late night fireworks, your pool sessions, whatever it is you do today. Make sure you join us for a little bit and have fun. So I'm ready, guys. I am ready.
Of course, and let's go to the third man on the booth, the man with the hard-hitting facts, with a public service announcement here, America 250, the one and only, the big man himself, Snuckle Brew.
Happy birthday, America. How we doing? You know it's time for your wellness check, but this is a special one because I know a lot of people are out here on the grill. They're swimming, doing all these type of outdoor activities. And we are in the middle of a heat wave here in America. So please wash your ass 2 or 3 times today if need be. If you are in front of a barbecue grill and you're smelling like charcoal today, please wash up, please. If you're out here entertaining people out here in this heat wave, hydrate and wash up. Also, please move your bodies today. I know y'all going to be consuming these hot dogs like chestnut. You're going to be consuming these steaks and hamburgers. Move your body 10 to 20 minutes after you consume those meals. We want you to be moving around. Be healthy as we talk about wrestling. And also, most people are off today, but if you had to work today like the hoss, I hope you made you some good money today. So please, here's your wellness check. Wash your ass, move your body, and make some money today if you had to work today. God bless everybody, and happy birthday, America.
There you go. Good service announcement. We're going to be here for our sponsors. Again, we are sponsored here by Dude Wipe. Stay fresh, stay clean, stay match ready, stay nice and dry in the heat. Of course, your bum. You don't want any swamp, man. So you make sure you get your Dude Wipes. Make sure you medicated, either medicated scent or the poopsicles, all the different products. Use our promo code in the video description. We have the promo code to save 20% on all your different platforms. Also, sponsored by Blackout Coffee. Stand up, wake up, never back down. We got a special message from Blackout Coffee where today there's 20% off and everything on 1776 special. So make sure you go to Blackout Coffee and save. And again, G Fuel Energy, fuel your soul, fuel your energy. GFuelEnergy.com. Promo code PGH Chris and fuel your cart. So yes, guys, let's go in. Let's talk about a few different things here because since it's hot outside and they're coming off a hot pay-per-view and one of the most rare anomalies, could we call it a broken clock syndrome? We don't know. Broken clock is right twice a week. I want to give it more credit or credit's due. We're talking about All Elite Wrestling having a strong Dynamite, following a pay-per-view, heading into a big event coming up this Wednesday on my coast, on the left coast of Florida, on Clearwater Beach Break. And surprise development, but I want to talk about that Wednesday world title picture where MJF and Mark Briscoe, the match, what a good match. Believe it or not, the highlights, I was very impressed, Chris.
Wednesday was very, very solid. First off, I know Haas could agree to this. It felt good coming on a Wednesday, not shitting on the show. It was good to actually talk about what is going to happen, something that this show has lacked in weeks. I was very excited to see what AEW did this Wednesday. They followed up on a couple things. Obviously, the main event scene is strong right now. I want the triple threat. Okay, I want the triple threat. I'm going to say that right now, but they put themselves in a position right now to start. I'm not gonna jinx myself, but right now they're in a position to make it a little unpredictable. We could get MJF versus Ospreay. We could get Kenny versus Ospreay. We could get a whole triple threat. They're setting themselves possibly for good weekly television leading up to Redemption. And hopefully, like I said, the House on Wednesday. The goal for me for Redemption is for that show to start the build for Wembley, and then all the weekly shows leading up to Wembley are solid. I want Redemption to be the last piece of the puzzle in order for this company to start building towards their biggest show, if that makes sense. But they followed up on that. I liked Kevin Knight and Leo Rush. Solid. Again, they followed up. They had their moment inside the steel cage. They had the match. Same thing. Again, Darby and Kevin Knight starting to be a little bit repetitive, but from the spot that did that at the steel cage, there's still some unfinished business. I think they made it a little more clear that this is the kind of the last straw between these two, hopefully. So I don't mind them doing that. And again, more people are challenging MJF, which is fine. The only thing that didn't hit for me Wednesday was the TBS title eliminator gauntlet, whatever, survival of the fittest. That's
we'll get to that.
That's the only thing that didn't hit for me. But otherwise, just to give you guys a quick thing, I thought Dynamite as a whole was solid, and good job for following up Forbidden Door.
Let me ask this. I want to ask this to Haas as well. We're seeing the MJF and Mark Briscoe match right after the pay-per-view. Were you pleasantly surprised on the outcome of the match quality and the story coming out of that?
When it comes to that match, I was not surprised. They put on good matches, and full disclosure, two of those guys are two of my favorites at this company, so they can't really do too much wrong to me. But from the people who were there, you got great reactions inside the arena. People on the internet, they loved the match, so I wasn't surprised by it. And it brought more intensity and stakes to a show that needed it. Because like we always talk about how the follow-up shows to the pay-per-views don't hit. So this gave this episode some gravitas from the jump. And shout out to Tony Khan for actually giving some episodic television. This is what it was. Like on Wednesday, I told Chris, I said, I want them to keep that same energy next week because the card is immaculate next week. And we'll talk about that. But long as you give us something to be looking forward to the whole episode, it hits. Like we started off with MJF and Briscoe, and we ended up with Kenny Omega answering a question for MJF. It just threaded throughout the show. That's episodic television. So good job on that.
Yeah, I want to go this to Chris. Chris, we knew is it safe to say we knew the outcome between the MJF and Mark Briscoe match? It was predictable. Am I correct?
Yeah.
In this aspect, predictability, it was so predictable, but were you entertained and did it deliver?
Yeah, because they said they did a good job of setting it up because the whole reason they did the match right at Forbidden Door was for this match, for Mark Briscoe having a championship match against MJF. So they told their story there, and again, there's animosity and heat between these guys going back to All Out in Toronto last year. So I enjoyed it. Again, we knew the predictable there. They started off, which was good. They got that out of the way. And again, I know I said on Wednesday, he started bleeding 2 fucking minutes in, yada yada. That's the sim. I'm not going to give that too much attention because of what those two guys brought to the show on Wednesday and brought to the match. And again, Forbidden Door, they did a good job of building that steel cage match for the opening match on Wednesday. So yes, I think it was a well done job. Predictable, but who cares? It sometimes, right?
Well, when predictability is done with a pro wrestling story behind it, like you said, going back to their match prior, before MJF took that break for some time off the television, filmed the movie, all that stuff, and now the stipulation coming off of the pay-per-view told the story, and winning for MJF wasn't going to lose the title, retaining and beating Mark Briscoe. But I'm going to go to Haas. A new story brew now with the insurgence of Kenny Omega. They're telling stories. It might not be to the level of certain people's liking or mental capacity, but they're making an effort. Haas, are you appreciative now of interjecting now Kenny Omega and the story they want to tell for MJF's next opponent going into the upcoming weeks?
Kev, if we talk about the following Wednesdays, I'm not the biggest fan of Kenny Omega at this moment.
I am with you as well. I think he's Kenny Omega.
If they put him in there, they say he's the god of pro wrestling, whatever. Sure, just they're giving us angles. I'm not going to say full-blown stories, but they're interjecting Kenny Omega into the Will Ospreay Moxley thing. So that's a story that goes together. It goes hand in hand. And honestly, this has slowly become my favorite storyline in wrestling right now because it's so nonsensical. I want to see the end of this train wreck. Where is this going? So if I've told Chris over the previous weeks, I would like a heel Ospreay to come out of this, but Tony Khan may not do it. But this story it has some legs to it. It may not be, in the words of Kev over here, it may not be everybody's cup of coffee, everybody's cup of tea, but it's something AEW has brewing. So
that's fine.
Like it or don't, they're trying, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, and I like what they're trying to tell the story. Chris, do you appreciate them trying to tell that story again, where the stipulation, where MJF makes it clear Omega wanted a second match that night. They made it clear that you're not going to have that second match. I'll give it to you and actually out of all the places next Wednesday. But if Omega doesn't win, he cannot no longer challenge no more. And he brought up the Hangman with continuity, with storytelling and history, as well as Cody Rhodes. So you got a little bit of continuity, which they say, their logic is don't look at this 3-card Mountie, but they're telling us now some stories. I really like where they're going with it. Do you like the stipulation, or do you think it opens the avenue up for so many different or unpredictability or predictability in your mindset?
I love this, and I'll tell you why. So if it was anybody but Hangman, if there was a stipulation, I might raise an eyebrow. But the reason why I love this is because MJF is, to me, the story is here. MJF is trying to make sure that all the members of the elite, the members who started this company on the foundation, doesn't ever touch that title he has again. I fucking love it. It makes sense because, again, Hangman and Kenny, imagine MJF is the reason why both of the two founding fathers can't title for the challenge for this title again. That's great. I love it. Again, it sets, like Hall said, you want to keep people watching your weekly episodic TV shows. This week was a great show. Next week has a stacked card, and you needed something like this because we talked about it on Wednesday. We don't know if Hangman's going to come out there. We don't know how this story is going to end out on Wednesday because we know that Kenny Omega possibly could be in the main event of Wembley. How does Kenny Omega walk out of this match not the loser, but still being able to challenge for that title again? That's the story that I'm looking forward to. How is Kenny Omega going to survive this match without having to challenge for the title? How are they going to get to that? That's what I'm curious. Are they going to have Hangman come out there and beat MJF, or Kenny and have Hangman come out there and have Kenny beat MJF? Possibility, not going to happen, but possibility. Is it somewhere, like I said on Wednesday, where Hangman comes out, tries to help Kenny, but that ends up backfiring and MJF wins? But they say that Hangman was there's so many different ways that they could do this. So That's why I like it. That's what I'm looking forward to next Wednesday. And with the main event scene, like Haas said, I love this because 3 of the biggest stars in the company are involved. I loved it. I like it. I really enjoy it. Now I'm curious. Again, I'm excited to see how Kenny gets out of this match. Still being able to challenge at Wembley, but the loser. I think they're going to hopefully do something good there.
Yeah, let's talk about that, Haas. This upcoming Wednesday, they are booking this match, and like Chris, there's so many avenues of possibility of how they're going to book themselves. How do you see it if you have the creative pencil? And I'm going to go to you, Haas, and I'll ask the same with Chris, which pretty much said, bro. What are your thoughts? What would you like? Not what AEW logic is, but Haas, Knuckle Brew, indulge me how you would go on that way.
Well, they really booked them. They booked themselves into a hole here, and it's going to be very creative to see how they would do it. So I'm going to go by the hole that they're in. I would have Kenny win Wednesday. No, I mean clean. No fuck finish, nothing like that. I have Omega win clean, and you go ahead and give him the belt. MJF, I know it's going to cause a lot of controversy. What are you going to do with him at Wembley? He's the biggest star. If you have a creative bone in your body, you can find something to do with him at Wembley that does not have to do anything with the title. So I would put Omega, give him all of July, have him defend that title at Redemption against someone. I don't know who. It shouldn't be MJF. Like go with someone else, and then go into All In against Ospreay. And here's my swerve. I would have Omega beat Ospreay at All In, beat him, and make it Ospreay. He goes off the rails, lose his mind at All In, bring out the plastic bag with the heels, and choke out Kenny Omega. And we go into another big program. Probably going into what's the next pay-per-view after that? What, Wrestle Dream?
All Out.
All out.
Okay, All Out. We're gonna continue this into All Out. And then that's where Ospreay should win it All Out after choking out Kenny Omega, making the biggest scene at All In at Wembley, flipping off the Queen, do whatever you need to do, make his countrymen hate him right there in England. And we got some controversial TV, episodic TV is going to be great. We often running from that, but that's how I would book it. Oh, going back to next week, Omega should win.
So you got Omega, and I heard you mention something, Chris, that I kind of want to ask you a question. I refresh my memory. The triple threat at WrestleMania with Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and
Punk.
What wasn't the IWC very against that?
Too bad the IWC doesn't speak for me.
No.
It.
But my point, I got you. I'm not saying that you speak for the IWC or IWC speaks for you. I see a lot of people disliking that. Wow. And now they're loving this the same thing with Omega triple threat for an All In. What's the difference?
That's a great question.
What's the difference? I'm with you. I kind of would like
that's
to see
a great question.
I would love to see a triple threat at that main event with Omega because you get the best of both.
Why were people complaining about fucking Seth Rollins, Punk, and Roman? That's the biggest match you can have.
I don't know.
I never understood it. We loved it. I loved it. We talked about this, but
yes,
I don't understand. And that's what I brought up because I got some heat from a couple people when I said I want the triple threat. That's what I meant by IWC don't speak for me. Because that's why I said you. That's why I'm going to tell you guys this right now. I like Haas's idea because I'm on the same boat with him. If there is but they put themselves in a hole by doing this. If they just would have had a match or something, you could have MJF win. I think MJF wins. I still would like. I don't know if we're gonna see Hangman, but I just don't know how we're gonna have Kenny Omega lose clean, and for him not to challenge at Wembley. So when Haas says Kenny should win, I'm not. Because of the story they put themselves in, Haas, I'm not going to disagree with you. Whatever, I want to see how they play this out Wednesday. What I would do for the Ospreay heel turn, I would after Redemption. If Kenny Omega wins the title at Redemption, I would have Ospreay come out, yada yada. The Death Riders come out at the end of the show, and whatever, and they give him that pin. And Ospreay just looks at Kenny, takes the pin, and they beat his ass right then and there. Now, I like it because, again, my goal for redemption is I want redemption to set up the rest of weekly television for All In. That's my goal with this pay-per-view. I'm not looking for a 5-star banger. I'm not looking for a great show that leads nowhere. Hoss, Kev, I'm telling you right now, I want redemption to have all of the moments. Not all of them, but at least a moment that we could talk about going into Wembley. Hoss, I think that's Ospreay turning heel then and there. And then when he wins the world title at Wembley, that's when he says, fuck you guys. I'm the champion now. I'm the big guy in this. So I think both of ideas are good, but that's how I would do it. I would have him go win the title as a heel, and I would have him turn on Kenny in Kenny's hometown in Canada, setting up for all the television going to Wembley Stadium. That's my goal for redemption.
All right. Well, by the way, I just got in the mail the new Will Ospreay Death Rider patch.
You gotta put the Death Riders logo on the side.
Yeah, it is. It is. Look, it's Death Riders. Look at it. It's just like the T-shirt.
Oh yeah, like a T-shirt. There you go.
Yeah, I got that Will Ospreay Death. I got that Will.
You got the bundle.
Patch. You got the. I got the bundle. Yeah, that came in the crate. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
The crate. Shout out to the crate, man. I actually fucked with the crate.
We got a new crate coming in this month too. It's gonna be great.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't think about purchasing it.
It's incoming.
I mean, mine came in. When you were part of the media, when you're part of the media, and you got a possible agent,
not
backing you up, you get all this stuff.
I'm gonna have Ospreay sign that shit, selling on eBay.
AEW fans, that is not part of your all-in crate. With full disclosure, that's not in your all-in crate.
Not yet. Not
coming
yet.
Soon. Coming soon. Yeah, coming soon.
Tony better get royalties for that too.
But all seriousness, here's my thing. I got a funny feeling because this is AEW. Mm-hmm. Wednesday you're going to get the Hangman returning back. He's going to cost Kenny Omega, and I think we're going to get Hangman and Omega. That's the feud that's going to be on their own. And MJF is still going to take on Ospreay and All In. And I think it's Hangman's coming in heel, screwing his own partner because throughout the thread you saw the Bucks, and he's telling the Bucks, "I got to do this alone," and they're still keeping that elite status, that elite. Still talking about them. They're still EVPs and all that in their way. I could see Hangman costing. Like, if I'm never gonna challenge for a title, you ain't challenging either. That sour grapes. I'm going to take everyone down. If I can't do it, no one else kind of deal on house. I could see that it'll be dumb, but I wouldn't be one bit surprised that happens.
Kev, I wouldn't. Truth be told, you could get good episodic TV off of that. I wouldn't even argue with it. The thing about it, I'm not here to argue outcomes anymore. I just want good. Right. I just want good weekly television because the pay-per-views hit for this company. That's what they do. They hit. Even Forbidden Door, it was paying because it had too many matches, but the main events hit. So I'm not going to argue here or there, but whatever outcome happens, if it gives me good episodic television, I'm not going to go against it. I won't. That's all I want. That's it. And that goes. That's company wide.
I hear you. And I was going to say happy 4th of July, everybody watching this. James Jones, Elliot, Mr. Jeff Littman, everyone that's watching us all across on the different platforms. Thank you so much. Here, don't forget, later on at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be in there with my partner, the one and only Luke Menzies, formerly known as Rich Holland. We will be interviewing him, and we got an announcement after the interview that you will have to stick around, and we're going to break here on the Sports Jedi Network with Luke Menzies. Of course, we're going to get to know more about him and his future and so forth. We got great stuff coming up on the Sports Jedi Network later on at 5 o'clock before the fireworks get going. We're going to get our own content fireworks going here on the Sports Jedi Network, starting here with This Week in Wrestling with the Sports Jedis. And of course, speaking of characters and storytelling, Lio Rush. I see how Lio Rush continues to make Chris a believer.
It's fine.
He's doing fine.
He's now being utilized in television. Tony Khan seeing a character on his platform where people talk about, and he's not dropping the ball. But Kevin Knight, I think was getting long in the tooth was Kevin Knight, Darby Allin, and then now Speedball kind of was put in the closet for a reason. I'm a little confused, Chris. Can you clear me on this picture with the Speedball, Kevin Knight, and of course Darby Allin? And let's not leave out Leo Rush being very entertaining as well.
So a few things there. I'll start with the Mike Bailey thing because I think we forgot to address that on Wednesday. Didn't really come up because we haven't really seen him involved with the Kevin Knight stuff. Maybe out after this, we get a full in-depth match between Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey. I think they fucked themselves over by doing that the week after Double or Nothing. And me and I told Hoss I did not like that because that they could have done the Darby thing going to Forbidden Door and then now because Speedball's from Canada, bro. You could have had him win the TNT title at Redemption from Kevin Knight right there. That's why they put themselves in a hole by doing that match first. So I don't know where they're going to go with that one right now. So that's a good question, and they put themselves in a hole. Leo Rush. I get like this because I've told Hoss for a few weeks now that this guy is not my cup of tea. But he's the only one in the show recently that has showed character. And because I know. That's why. And Kevin Knight did a great job of selling the Leo Rush character where he had the backpack in the middle. Kevin Knight was spooked out. MJF did a good job of putting Leo Rush's character over at Forbidden Door. So Leo Rush, I give him credit. I actually do. He made himself look spooky, and I don't like saying it out loud. That's why I hesitate on saying it, but I am a believer of Leo Rush. So Leo Rush is doing great. We'll see where he goes from there. And your last part was Darby Allin and Kevin Knight. I don't mind that they're doing this, but it goes back to what I just told you about Speedball and Kevin Knight. If you would have had this build or this match after Kevin Knight did what he did ending Double or Nothing, and you would have had that feud or that, whatever match for the TNT title, you got that out of the way. And now we could have been focusing on Redemption. That should have been Speedball Bailey on Wednesday. Does that make sense, guys? They did this in a reverse way between Darby Allin and Speedball. Because at the end of the day, Speedball should be winning the title in his home country against Kevin Knight at Redemption next month. And if they do that, great, but they put themselves in a hole for storytelling purposes. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah, Haas, I'm gonna tag you in here because to elaborate more on that because you guys spoke a little bit about that on Wednesday, but now is the time to really go into the nuts and bolts in detail.
Truth be told, like this has the perfect telling to be a triple threaded Redemption. You could put Darby, Speedball, and Kevin Knight because it gives the Don Callis family a reason to come and interfere with no problems with the rules. And if Kevin Knight was to retain out of that, it wouldn't matter. If Speedball wins, it'd be a nice, hometown story. And if Darby wins, it kind of splits up both guys. Like, they already, philosophically they're already split. But if Darby beats both of them by asserting dominance, it's just like, okay, we might be better together because we can't beat a bigger threat. If that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. So they, like what Chris said, they booked themselves into a hole because you put too many people into this TNT championship circle, and also you got Kevin up here going after MJF, which makes no sense at all either. So if you go to Montreal, you put on Speedball, nice. Darby Allin doesn't need that belt. I can't believe I'm saying this. He's interesting enough without a title, Darby Allin, because he's still fresh off his world championship reign. So, yeah, whatever they go with, it should be Speedball and Kevin at Redemption, and hopefully we get that.
My fear, because of the way that clip of seeing Speedball looking outside, looked like Squidward in the window watching SpongeBob and friends play. But my fear is that we're gonna get that heel embrace with him and Kevin Knight teaming together. Remember, Andrade left the Don Callis family, so they got to replace him with another talent. And I'm scared that they're going to set back up Jet Set because of all the tag teams that are coming in, and they need another tag team, which Doesn't make sense, guys. I get it because he's holding that TNT title. But this is all Elite Wrestling logic, which it makes you like Tony doesn't mind having a title holder champion go with team up to do quests for other titles, and that's the only fear I have. That instead of storytelling, we'll just get back together and they're gonna hug and they're gonna be heels under Don Callis. I hope not, because Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling is starting to ramp up again. And now they're going to probably be there and show them there and yada and all that stuff. So I'm a little afraid that sometimes that dictates all that other stuff.
Kev, you might be onto something because Speedball's not a great promo. Kevin Knight's not a great promo. It's just Speedball Mike Bailey is just such a goofball. It's hard to see him be heelish. You see, Kevin Knight hasn't taken to being a heel naturally. It's a process. Now, what's the biggest heel thing we're gonna do with Speedball? Put some shoes on him? We're gonna give him some boots? I mean,
get the people in Canada to turn on him.
They won't do it. They won't do it. The AEW faithful, for some reason, if you turn heel, they still cheer for you. These are the same people that say MJF is my favorite scumbag. He'll sit up there and say he's from the Beast Coast, the best coast. He tries to get this cheap heat every week, and they still cheer him. And that's one of the biggest things that's wrong with modern wrestling fans right now. They're not playing along with the product as they should, and the TV comes off bad behind it. So if the fans will play along better, the heel turns and the face turns will hit harder. But I believe that's why we got companies that they want to go face versus face a lot. And it falls flat because you got people choosing sides, and that's not what you want to do when you got two uber baby faces going colliding against each other. So it's wild. It's just, we'll see.
Two things on this, if I could give me a couple seconds. One is you asking people that's spending a lot of money and time to go to these events and these shows to watch a talent. And when they do the heel turn and stuff, and you hear people online, like for instance, Cody. I'm gonna use Cody Rhodes as an example. Everybody is craving for him to be to go mega heel, Homelander type of deal. The minute he does, those cheers are not because the cheers they like the bad guy. They're cheering like, yes, finally the son of a gun is going to turn heel. And I think those become a cheer of finally an excitement because now it's going to get exciting. I think that's where the wrestling fans, and also you're telling them to pay a lot of money, so they're going to express themselves to cheer finally the heel turn that's going to be exciting and not that boring Cody Rhodes babyface. In case in point, look what Sami Zayn is doing a phenomenal job now as a heel, doing stuff on social media, being a zinger. And the same thing here. When it comes to that's why Moxley thing. One day he's good, one day he's a babyface, a heel, flip flop, and people tend to cheer, not cheer. It's confusing. I get you. I get it with you. It's this modern wrestling fans that when you spend a lot of money, you can't tell them just to totally boo because they're so happy that they finally turn heel oh my God, they're gonna get some excitement. I think that's where it comes from us. Also, I think that's another reason why they don't make Ospreay the full monster heel, because not everybody wants to boo him. And if he turns heel, they're still not going to boo him because, yes, you added another level of excitement because you're a walking weapon, or you're finally ascending to that next level of face of the company as this mega heel because you're going to hit and blade everybody out of their fucking minds. And now you're just a really aerial assassin. And I think people are cheering because they're excited what's the possibility of what could come after that, if it makes sense, Hoss.
It makes sense. But the biggest thing is fans are always complaining about, creative direction or the companies don't listen to me. This is where you can sit up here and sway booking. If you go in, if you're one of these people who buy these tickets, that go to these live events, and you play along properly, you can sway booking the way you want. Like if you want someone to turn face that you think deserves to be a face, give the reactions that are required, and don't feel like the bookers are playing a Jedi mind trick on you. Shout out to the sports Jedi as we are. That's what we are. But you have to, like we say, buy merch and you give proper reactions. This is how you can sway episodic television. Fans have more power than they think. You don't just have to get on your keyboards and click out and say things, or like we do, we get on the podcast and we talk. If you're one of these people who pay these top dollar things and you act appropriately, your star of choice will get over. They will get proper booking. They will be on TV more often. You just can't sit there and just like, okay, Kevin Knight's my favorite guy. He's a heel right now. You need to boo him out of the building. Don't sit up there and just say, yay, Kevin Knight, yay. Think about it. He doesn't do the UFO splash for a reason because he's a heel now. He does the crash landing. So he has changed his wrestling style as a heel. So as a fan, you have to change your cheering style. Just because you're booing does not mean you're not cheering for him to be great. Those boos are him being great. So you just have to rewire your thinking as a fan. So fans need to realize that they do have more power than they think.
Fans got to take from Dominic Mysterio. Learn from that Dominic Mysterio. They boot him out of the building. Look how the push came. You agree, Chris?
Yes, I agree 100%. We go along with what these characters are presenting. It makes not just for them, but it makes better for TV.
Absolutely. And leads me to this one thing. I guess the final thing we could talk about here is the women's opportunity with the title. I heard you guys break it down. What was your thoughts on that TBS title, Haas?
Kev, I was very upset with the results. The match was fine. It wasn't great, but it was fine. It's just the fact is you put the belt on Hikaru Shida. She's very boring, and she doesn't drive a storyline. And then the storyline they want to push is going to be Statlander and Shida. That story has jumped the shark. We've already seen how this goes. We're tired of seeing that, and these are two established women already. This survival of the fittest should have been to prop up a star, like a Persephone, maybe a Queen Aminata, or maybe even Harley Cameron. This should have been a star-making scenario, and Tony Khan completely misread the room, and he missed the boat. And I thought he was going on. I thought he was onto something here, but I saw Persephone. She's turned heel behind this, and hopefully something comes out of it. But you got Shida and Statlander being something, then you're going to interject Persephone in this as well. This is how you book yourself into a hole. Too much stuff going on. There's no clear direction. So I hated that he did not make a new star out of this, and Shida's going to be a transitional champion for no reason. We had too much going on. So that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, too much going on. And Chris, I see now they turned Persephone heel. Now you want to boo CMLL because she represents CMLL, and it's like, why are you just should have left it alone? I don't know why they didn't want to make a new star out of this. You know, you had Queen Amidala who's been there for a while. Why didn't that happen? If you didn't want to go back to Statlander again with the title, Shida was a champion already. I don't think that's going to elevate anything because she doesn't really talk you in the building. I'm not gonna go on the Persephone bandwagon because you know how I feel. I think she's awesome. I didn't think she needed to win there. I would have liked to see something from Queen Amidala or someone. I just didn't understand their logic of where they were going with this title, and it doesn't make sense because you're showing vignettes of Willow Nightingale returning. So it felt very. This one felt like I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I agree, man. I don't care for Akira Shida at all. Haas nailed it right on the money. What is she gonna do for this TBS title division that you're gonna be interested in watching? It shouldn't make again. Tony doesn't care about doing double champions. You should have had Megan Bayne be in this survival of the fittest, have her win it. Or any of those three that Aaron just said, I would have fine as well.
And I forgot about Harley Cameron. I was trying to remember who was the other lady. And what did Mike? And that was an opportunity, Chris, to have Harley Cameron actually win that title. And it would have set up the story of, damn, I just came back and I got to take on my tag team partner, the Babe of Wrath, So that would have been a great storytelling time. They didn't go with that, which is
man. And it sucks because the main event women's scene has potential right now because they're doing Maya World versus Athena the Dynamite on Beach Bash and on the Gauntlet, one of those two women are going to win it, in my opinion. Should be Maya World.
Yes.
But one of and then you're going to have Maya World and Tekla and then Mercedes, whoever. That main scene is going to be pretty interesting. But this mid card for the women, yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Put the fucking title on Megan Bayne. Stop messing around and have her dominate and tell a good story with Lana Cross. Her and Lana, or when Penelope Ford comes back. Not for the obvious storyline that you guys are thinking, but because they're former tag team partners. She's been gone. You see, Megan Bayne's the future. They could tell a story without having to involve their real life lives about it. That's what I'm saying.
Right. And they let's see what happens. I think they're in a cusp of unveiling and breaking out in a star in my world. They have a superstar in a making. Now it's up to them now to take it and help them. Her in-ring is ready to go. I haven't really heard a promo much of her yet, personally, but it's up to now creative to help her get elevated. I think she has the tools and the knowledge and the aspiration of becoming a next woman superstar in that division, in that company. But then it's up to the support system around her. 920 ain't gonna cut the mustard, Chris.
I agree, brother. I agree. That's what I'm saying. We'll see. We'll see what happens next week with that. But again, the Kira Shida thing, I'm not digging it. Haas is completely on the money.
Yeah, we'll find out. But the women's division got something. Even with Mercedes there, it's starting to get it. Even we know Mercedes is going to be the front and center, but then now major pieces around it are starting to get raising their level. They're leveling up there, but they're going to need more time. And I mean more time, not 9:20 on a Wednesday. I don't know how they'll do it. I don't know how they'll spread it out. Don't say Collision, because in the summertime at 8 o'clock on a Saturday, it's going to be very difficult for people to sit in and watch Collision. That's all I'm saying. To see, don't want to get invested in there on that there. But we'll find out. Summer Bash, Beach Bash coming up here. This Wednesday is going to be a good show from Clearwater, Florida. It's going to look great aesthetically. It's going to look fine, and it should be something different from your cookie cutter wrestling companies in the arena. It's going to be outdoors. Hopefully the weather holds up. Hopefully, because let's face it, there is thunderstorms each and every week, every time. So that's going to be interesting. The elements. They're in Tampa, Florida. It rains now this time of year all the time for like 10, 15 minutes. And it feels like the whole earth is falling when it comes to rainstorms. We'll find out there. But we're going to take a quick reset. We're going to go hear from our sponsor, Blackout Coffee, and we're going to get into some TNA wrestling here. Unless if you guys got anything else left from Dynamite, for the Dynamite Bros. By the way, check them out each and every Wednesdays on the Sports Jedi Network. Right after Dynamite is over, the Dynamite Bros breaking post-reaction live all across our platforms. All right, so we'll take a quick break. I got to reset. And we'll hear from our sponsor.
Oh yeah, baby. We are back. Hoss, anything else you wanted to add on AEW?
I'm gonna piggyback off what Aaron says here in the comments. The women should be on Dynamite more. I agree with you wholeheartedly, brother, because that just shows you that the women need more narratives. That's it. Like we can give them all the matches that they want on Collision, but we want the women to be fully invested on Dynamite. We need to get them some strong hitting angles in our stories. So I agree with you. They should probably We on an average Dynamite, we get 5 to 6 matches. You give us 2 women matches and a couple vignettes. We can make something happen with the women's division off of that. So I agree with you.
Did it freeze on your end, guys? Did it freeze? Because my computer acted stupid. Did you get the commercial in?
Yes. Yep.
All right. So let's get some TNA wrestling. Coming off of their Slammiversary break or their pay-per-view with some new. Eric Young, no longer part of the company, as for his release. Now, rumor has it, he's heading to WWE, be part of a NXT, like a Sean Spears type of role, a performer / producer, coach for Eric Young in that next level, the next part of his life. Chris, I know we watched TNA and watched Eric Young. He took on that match against Ricky Sosa. I don't see what else was left for Eric Young really to do in TNA.
I don't either, man. This is one of those things where, cool. Like, I'm happy for he's going to go be a trainer and NXT mentor the younger talent down there. I think he reached the ceiling with TNA, which sucks because I don't really think he was there for so long, but never was the top player. It's kind of unfortunate. But I wish him the best because he's going to kill it as a trainer. I think that's what he wants to do at this point in his career. And, he's been proving that by having the matches with BD and now putting over Ricky Sosa. So he got to do that on screen. I just think now he wants to do that behind the scenes.
And prior to that, we saw him get Sinners and Saints going. Sinners and Saints individually having a match with them when they were part of the Northern Armory. And having their match put him over there. I
guess the cleanse just isn't coming though.
I know you need
That's
to
the only
TNA
thing.
for about a year now, let's say a year, and so for half a year, whatever. And seeing Eric Young, doesn't it make you ask this question? At least me and you, why not stay in TNA and be that and offer that availability to that company where you've seen a lot of young talent like a Ricky Sosa, like the Jason Hodge, and wrestlers like that. Why not stay there and help them out on that there, or is there more to this?
I think it's just more financial stability. I believe the WWE is probably offering him a more long-term contract to do what he wants to do, and with TNA it may be more short-term. So I think those are the bigger things that play here. Because if TNA offered him a comparable contract to the WWE, he may have stayed. And also with TNA, the current structure of TNA, Eric Young possibly thought he probably say I could probably be a bigger deal if I was to stay here at TNA, and you're not going to offer me that. I could believe that. So TNA they're doing a whole different creative reset. I know a lot of people are coining the Great Reset. And a lot of veterans are going to have to make some decisions. Like, do you want to stay here for whatever deal that you're getting, or do you think you want to stand on your own too and go to greener pastures? And Eric Young, he's kind of long in the tooth. He's been wrestling a long time. He probably feels like I don't have that much staying power with TNA into the markets they're trying to get into. Eric Young doesn't have the look that they're trying to market, if that makes any sense. They're going with a younger direction, a different demographic. So Eric Young, he could be that veteran that be that good hand. But I believe he's just trying to be more financially stable, and WWE gives him more to do that.
Interesting. We'll see how that goes for where he surfaces, if it's the WWE NXT realm, or what's next for the world-class Maniac. The cleanse never came for the talent. It came on him. He cleansed himself right out of TNA for Eric Young. Interesting to see there. One thing that they did do, Chris and Haas, they did their Knockouts television title. They had a couple matches, tournament, which this was PLE or type or pay-per-view type, when you had Tasha Steelz taking on Mara Sade, back and forth, these ladies in a very entertaining match where you had Mara Sade. I was very surprised that she beat Tasha Steelz. Tasha Steelz was a two-time Knockouts champion. With her pedigree there, I was very impressed with Mara Sade getting the victory. Chris, did you agree with that assessment? And the tournament brackets are out.
Yeah, the tournament brackets are out. But did I agree with that? No.
I agree with you.
But I understand why. I mean, I think all those ladies that were announced, like Indy, Elena Black, and Mariah Sadeh, they're all three of those. I think it's gonna be one of the winners. I don't know if it's because I'm looking into it that much that they just happened to be there when it was announced. But I don't know. I'm probably looking into that a little too much. But no, I want the Order 4 to feel like a legit faction. I want them to, not that they're not, but I want them to, when you look at these guys, all them, they have a title. They're, Tasha Steelz just feels like Mustafa Ali's secretary. That's all she can. She's much more than that. She could be much more than that. And, I think the fucking Knockouts division needs her. There's a couple things there I think that they're not doing well with Tasha Steelz, but it is what it is. I don't have a problem with Mariah Sadeh. I don't have a problem with her winning. They could have done this a little bit better, and if they wanted to meet in later rounds, and then Mariah Sadeh wins from an upset, that's okay. But again, I feel the same way with this that I told Haas that I felt with Samoa Joe in the first round of the Owen. You're gonna have somebody like her or him lose first round. Now, granted, they're not to bad opponents, but that's just me. I would have liked to see a different outcome, but not surprised.
No, because the reason why I'm going to go to Haas with this, because Haas has been a very opponent of, you have to push Order 4 to the top of the card. All the members make that faction, that group feel like they're running and they're the top of the food chain when it comes to TNA in this revamp. You tried it with the system, and the system had their moment. Now it's time for Order 4 to get that shine, to be the top heel faction. But they're teasing some stuff there. Mustafa Ali doesn't seem too happy where his Order 4 colleagues losing. You saw the Good Hands not win the tag team titles at the ladder match. You also saw Tasha not winning and not advancing in this tournament. And he feels a little upset that he kind of storytelling like he's surrounding himself with a bunch of losers. Kind of. That's the vibe I'm getting, Haas. But is that good storytelling, or is there something where they're going to pull the plug on this fashion group, Haas?
I don't think they're gonna pull the plug on the faction. It's too ingratiated into weekly television. So I don't think they're not gonna treat them like the Vision on Raw. They're not gonna go that way.
Okay.
So, but with Tasha Steelz just exclusively, if you've noticed her booking as of recent, she was like in a mentor role with Jada Stone, when they had that whole Elijah feud with Mustafa Ali. It seems like Tasha is in that role to try to get the younger talent over. So I see that she resigned recently, and I think that's her role going forward. They may have promised her a bigger role in the Knockouts division, not for this mid-card title, but for maybe the bigger title. Because if they push her that route, it really legitimizes Order 4. So I think that's the way they're going. But her putting over Mara Sade, it makes sense. She was putting over Jayla Stone recently, so that's the way TNA is going. And that piggybacks off the Eric Young question that we just had before this. The older talents are falling in line with this right now. With TNA, if you want to extend here, be here longer term, you have to put over the younger talent, men and women both. So I think that's the way they're going with Tasha Steelz. Like we just saw Eddie Edwards. I know we're gonna get to it. He was up there with Leon Slater in the main event.
No, let's talk about it right there. Go for it.
Yeah, that same deal is going on. Like even though Leon lost, he looked very strong in that loss because Cedric had to come out there and help Eddie Edwards to help to win that match. So it takes more than one guy to take out Leon Slater, a guy that they're probably propping up to be a world champion. He said, he posted on X this past week. He said future world champion. So TNA is going this way. It may not happen maybe before the end of the year, but going into Slammiversary next year, if Leon Slater is still with this company, I expect him to be the world champion going into Slammiversary next year.
And his deal is up in December. So I don't see Leon Slater staying with the company past December. So I don't know if he is or wants aspiration of that TNA World Heavyweight title. It's gonna have to happen sooner or later, probably in Chicago, and probably lose it at Bound for Glory or No Surrender at the last pay-per-view or last PLE before his contract in November, before his contract is up. If he is gonna hold the TNA World title, losing Eddie Edwards, and I like what you said, but prior to that, you had him coming out and for the save to help Ricky Sosa. Ricky Sosa was trying to be recruited by the righteous, and out comes the system, and they were trying to recruit him, and Sosa don't have one to do with no one. He's his own man, but Leon comes out. Could that be where we're going to see probably Ricky Sosa, Leon Slater handing the baton to one another? I don't think any title is going to be there. I think that's the matchup that's going to probably be the feud that's going to end Ricky Sosa or Sosa to the next level and Leon exiting the company. That's the way I see it. Doesn't mean that because they have a whole new creative, but you still have Tommy. You'll have Delirious, Tommy Delirious there, who's still intertwined with some of the old stuff that happened prior to it with storyline. So I can see that there. I'm not opposed to what you said, Haas, seeing Leon Slater hold the title, but I don't think he's going. The way I see all these massive exits, I don't know if I see Leon Slater staying with the company.
Kev, I'll say this: if TNA wants to be a serious player, a serious company, and not just be a lackey to the WWE, you have to offer Leon Slater, Ricky Sosa, and whoever you view as the new stars of this promotion. You have to go ahead and bring the Brinks truck. Go ahead and offer what you can offer. Now, if WWE beats it, that's just a different. You can't outmaneuver the machine. I get that. But if you don't try your hardest to negotiate and bring the young stars back that are under 30 years old, guys who can actually move the demographic up, who can bring people who can put asses in seats, like it's going to be LOL TNA for another decade if you let these guys out of the building. If you call yourself being cheap. Like, because people are going to start questioning, well, you got a TV deal, but you can't re-sign the younger people. You already let the older people go. You let the youth movement, you let everybody know a youth movement is happening. You can't re-sign the youth. So what are we doing here? So TNA, they have to look themselves in the mirror and say, are we serious players? Because if we're serious, we have to re-sign Leon Slater. We let Mike Santana out the building. That happened. We cannot let Leon out of here. We cannot let Ricky Sosa out of here. We cannot let Elena Black out of here. Mara Sade, AJ Francis, all the people that ilk, we cannot let them out of the building right now. So TNA has to ask themselves, are we serious people?
I say this, and I'll say this 1,000 times. I think when it comes to the president of TNA, Paulo Silva, and the heads that run TNA Wrestling, I think they're willing, able, and wanting to keep these talents around. But when it comes to Anthem Sports, his boss is above him, the attorney that runs the company and out of Toronto. I don't think he's invested and want any money. That's the same problem that they ran with Invicta FC. Not keeping the top fighters, female fighters, and losing them to the UFC, going over and fighting in the UFC. And there's so much handcuff and so much range that they'll give Carlos Silva as president to want to keep talent. He had a great what it all looks, and when I was told that he had a very nice relationship with, and probably still does, with Mike Santana. Now Mike is gone. He's going to make his debut sooner. I won't be surprised at Madison. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes. We won't be surprised to see when he's going to. It makes sense what's pointing out when he's going to make his debut if he does for Mike in the WWE, but they're handcuffed. They got a budget. It's like the NBA right now. A lot of teams don't want to go into that second apron because of the taxes. Anthem don't want to go certain budget because it's losing money. When you have a Slammiversary with 3,400 and 20, let's say 34, 3,200 and 24 were paying crowd or 27 is a paying crowd, you have an issue. you're losing revenue. And these buildings are now these days are not that cheap. They're expensive. Certain venues they probably get at a good deal because of the relationships that Carlos Silva has throughout the. But money's still money. You still got to pay for fees and staff and all that stuff and insurances. That's still, and again, that hurts the bottom line of keeping certain talents. I don't if you will, let's say they want to bring the Brink truck to Leon Slater. They're not going to commit for 3 years, or they're not. They're just going to commit to a 1-year deal. No one, I don't believe, has more than a 1-year deal in that company. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I don't. I doubt it. I doubt it because you're all seeing them all resign. That's what I'm saying. They're probably Nick Nemeth probably has the longest one. It's probably a year. All these people are 6-month deals, and that hurts them big time.
And if you're a talent, right, and they want to sign you, let's use the content creator. You're here, and let's say a company, another competitor, another content creator wants to sign you, and they're going to offer you a 3-year deal, and you're here just because you're per appearance. You're going to stay with the secure paycheck for 3 years, rather secure them per appearance or come. I'm gonna it's how these talents are. You especially in the real world when bills pile up. You got a 3-year guaranteed. Even if you get released, you're still going to get paid 90 days to find work. If it doesn't work out, you're going to take that guaranteed money over, even the AEW, even if they shelve you, like they have that reputation of signing a talent and just keeping them at home, do nothing like Warlow, he's still getting paid. The dude ain't missing it. The dude is not getting foreclosure notices unless if he's an irresponsible person with his finances, but he's still getting that check. That check still clears. TNA, your per appearance, if you don't work or if you don't wrestle, it's a tough. Do you really? And then for Leon Slater, he's coming from the UK. That's not a cheap flight. That's not a cheap flight, my friend. The visas and all that stuff. So that's a tough one, Hoss. That's a tough one. I agree with you. I don't want him to go anywhere.
I get exactly when we get to talking business, it gets grimy, it gets gritty. I understand that, but if you're gonna run a wrestling promotion, you got to really get into the books. Like we invested in that. I know a lot of people. We hypothesize who the highest paid people in this company, and it's probably the Hardys.
Yes,
and if they're the biggest draw, I understand that, but you have to realize they have a short shelf life.
Yes.
If one of these guys get hurt in one of these tables matches, your biggest draw is off of TV, maybe 6 months. And that's light. These guys are long in the tooth. So if we are investing in these older talents like this, and I know they're the Hardys, they're wrestling royalty. We gotta start having some hard questions. Like, are we willing to part ways with them to keep younger talent? Because they've gone all in on this youth movement, and you can appreciate the Hardys all you want for helping to get the AMC deal. That's a fact. But if you see this company surviving 5-10 years from now, you must have a Leon Slater. You must have a Ricky Sosa. Like, if they decide to leave 2 or 3 years from now, that's fine. But you need them for your next year, especially. Because you want people to start turning on your TV. Like, you're not the lapsed fans. There's only so many of them. You're not going to have that many coming back to watch the Hardys. The lapsed fans, the people who haven't watched wrestling in 10 years. They'll be like, oh, the Hardys are still wrestling? Okay, let's go watch TNA. Not that many people are coming back to that. That's just a fact. The people who watch TNA on the regular, they're going to watch TNA rather if the Hardys are there or not. Am I correct on that one?
I disagree, because the reason why I've got proof. We interviewed Amber Brooke, Hollywood actress. She says, I want to bring the clip up because I like to bring the clip to hear it. But I'll say it first and I'll try to find it while Chris goes. She goes, yeah, I haven't watched wrestling since I was a little girl. Younger. I fell out of it, didn't like it, but I keep up the Hardys. She immediately bought the Hardys and she light up her face, light up the room and call the Hardys. And they're still, she knows that they're still wrestling. Mm-hmm. So the Hardys transcend more than just the wrestling fans. They're mainstream. And I'm gonna bring the clip up so we could hear her say it. But and there you go. And that Jeff Lippman was on there, and he got the question out of her. Did a good job there. Check out that interview with Amber Brooke, with Jeff Lippman and Vinny Pacifico, Out of Character podcast. That's a new program that we have here. And go ahead, Chris. I'll find the clip.
I think you guys are both making great points. Very, very good points from both of you. Me, the Hardys, when you say are people tuning back into the Hardys, I don't think it's as much as people might think, but there's definitely a good amount of people tuning in just for the Hardys. But I also understand what you're saying, because again, they only have so much time in wrestling left, and who knows where they want to end their careers. Maybe they want to go to WWE, have one more run, go into the Hall of Fame, and just be done. Again, if that's their case, then obviously this makes this a little bit more easier for TNA to part ways with the Hardys. But let's just say, they want to bring this to their attention because the budget's low. They want to sign like the Ricky Sosas, whatever. I actually don't mind that, because I understand the hard, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like the Hardys, they're people are going to watch them wherever they go. So that's a huge loss for TNA. And I think the Hardys are comfortable where they're at right now. So TNA's probably is not even paying that much for them. But yeah, it's a tough one, because you're definitely going to have a lot of people tuning in for the Hardys. But if you have to also invest in your Leon Slaters and your Ricky Sosas and all that. So I think you guys both make great points. It's just,
yes,
what are they going to do now? I think you have to keep one of them. Like if Leon walks out, which is ultimately the goal, ultimately the assumption and what's going to happen, you got to keep a Ricky Sosa, KC, and you got to keep AJ. Like, but again, do they have to free the Hardys contracts up to do that? That might have to be like Hall said, that might have to be a tough discussion within them.
I'd say I'll go. You still looking for it, Kev? I got a sports example. The Lakers, LeBron just parted ways with the Lakers. The Lakers, they chose Luka Doncic. They just traded for the Walker Kessler, and they're making other.
Very Caucasian. They got very Caucasian.
Yes, right. They have, but they also went younger. They say we have to be the Lakers 10 years from now. We just can't commit to being the LeBron Lakers for a year while you're on a retirement tour. We can't commit to that. And so LeBron chose to leave. And then bring it back to TNA and wrestling, we have to make decisions that be like, okay, are we going to be significant players 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Or are we just going to play for the present? Because you have to be willing to overpay for a Leon Slater. Leon Slater is 21 years old. Like, this guy could be the ace of your promotion for another 10 or 15 years. You do it correctly. Ricky Sosa, I don't know how old he is off the bat, but
like 19.
There you go. If he's 19 years old, let's just say 20 to be safe here. If he's 20 years old,
21, my bad.
Okay, 2 21-year-olds, and they're in a demographic where TikTok is big. They got big entrances. They're big on music. They're big on fashion. These are the people that will bring new fans to your promotion. The Hardys will bring the lapsed fans in. They will, but they're not going to bring too many new fans in. I honestly believe that. Like, if you think TNA can get up to 400,000 people on a Thursday night, the Hardys are not going to bring 400,000 people. They're not. If they could do that, they'd already be doing it. The fact that we're already at 250 is the strength of the Hardys. Now, if you want to expand on that number, you must be willing to take some short-term losses right now for long-term gains. And the long-term gains that happen with the youth. You have to bet on the youth. So, I hate to use the Hardys as this example, but that's just where we are. They're a big name, but they're a nostalgia act as well. How much can you really get out of a nostalgia act? Like, How much can you bank on that?
Ask Tony.
I mean,
I'll give you the clip.
Okay, go
Let me run the
fire it
clip.
up, Kev. Fire it up.
We're the Hardy Boys, okay?
Nice. Good pull.
Yeah. I used to watch wrestling as a kid. The older I got, though, I was like, it's more of a soap opera than anything, so I'm going to stop watching. But I do love me some Jeff and Matt Hardy.
Okay, well, they're still active.
They are. I noticed that. It's like, that's awesome.
It is kind of awesome.
Yeah, so we, a lot of us try and stick together. So if I see a casting call, normally I'll throw it somebody else's way and be like, all right.
And that is from the Out of Character podcast. You hear her, who does not watch wrestling, doesn't follow it, but still knows that the Hardys are still active, and the Hardys were her favorite act. Now, I think the Hardys are not stupid. They're not. They're a very smart businessmen. I'm not guaranteeing. Let me say what I'm gonna say. I think I wouldn't be surprised if the Hardys got a minimum feasible contract from TNA to wrestle, but they keep close to 80% of their meet and greet money. They'll give TNA the 20%, and they keep 80% of their meet and greet. And I'm gonna tell you this right now, because we had a good friend that used to, I don't know if she still does or does, that used to work the meet and greets for the Hardys. And for us being at UBS Arena last year, those people stay until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes the building has to kick them out, meeting every paying fan to meet the Hardys. People will stay until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning after the live event is over to have a meet and greet with Jeff and Matt Hardy. And it's not just the 8 seconds smile. Oh yeah, no, they will give their time and their personal. You're gonna get an experience. You're gonna get a pretty much your own party when you meet the Hardy boys. Even our own Rain did a meet and greet with the Hardys, and she loved it. It's worth every penny, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Hardys, because if they're gonna stay that late and that long, they're probably getting a high percentage.
They have
their meet and greet. They might be getting 80, or I could even dare say 100%. And if people are and that's why you keep a Hardy Boys around. You pay them, they won't break the bank for TNA where they're going to need 7 figures. They're probably going to get like a competitive rate, just a little on their Nemeth. Not, you're not going to they're not going to go for peanuts, but they're going to make all their money in their meeting. And if that works, Haas, that's a great winning formula. That's a smart business decision.
Kev, you're right. I'm not going to debate that one, but I will say this: it's going to be put to the test next year because WrestleMania is going to be where next year?
Saudi Arabia.
All right. What do the Saudi Arabians like? What in
money?
Nostalgia.
Exactly. So think about this now. The second one is true, but we're going to go with nostalgia. Now, if they're going to Riyadh next year, don't you think that Saudi Arabians are going to ask for Matt and Jeff Hardy? They're going to ask for them in 2 nights. They're going to ask for them, and the WWE's. Go ahead.
If they offered money, right, and they offer $5 million, and 2.5 goes to the Hardys and 2.5 goes to TNA. If you're TNA, would you lend them?
WWE ain't gonna play ball like that. They're gonna ask for Matt and Jeff Hardy to come and sign exclusive deals to the WWE so they can come retire after that. They're not gonna play ball like that.
You're right. Fair.
So
fair.
So
I think they'll leave them high and dry then to go.
Yes, I believe that.
I agree with Hoss on that.
If the Saudis come, if the Saudis say we'll give both of you guys $5 million, come over here.
You make a great point. You make a great point.
And you just leave TNA. TNA's gonna be left high and dry. And then think about that. If they chose the Hardys over Leon Slater, Ricky Sosa, and any other younger talent, they just let the younger talent walk. And the Hardys leave with their big money. TNA is left holding their dicks in their hands because you chose nostalgia.
I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, this is the stuff that Vince McMahon used to think about, and wrestling fans never considered. They'll be like, okay, how come you didn't re-sign such and such? We got younger guys coming up and from OVW right now. We can't.
That's why they did great. That's why they did that. That's why they did that partnership with OVW. They're preparing themselves because they know that they're just going to have a revolving door in that company. I think TNA, from the ownership, the lawyer ownership from Anthem Sports, all the way down to Carlos Silva's office, even some of the head of creative, and whoever's part of that circle trust, I think they have come to realization that TNA, unfortunately, is a 1-year revolving door, or from company where they're going to shuffle in talent from all different aspects of the wrestling industry. They're going to find the hottest UK wrestler. That's why, by the way, this is a quick service now. At 5 o'clock this afternoon here on the Sports Jedi Network live, we will be with Luke Menzies. Who's Luke Menzies? Formerly known as Rich Holland from the Bowling Brutes. Will be joining me, and we are going to break our new show together, but he is my first guest. He will be coming on the Sports Jedi Network. We're going to be talking about that, and we're now going to be tapping into, via Luke Menzies, the European or the UK independent scene to get to know some of those talents out there. And now we're going to know more about the UK scene. This is where TNA has to keep their scouting department wisely to find out these scouts all over across the pond in New Japan or in Japan, as well as Mexico. But, have you see how in Canada, they need to start looking, and across the United States, bringing in those different type of talents. Because you keep Ricky Sosa, I'm going to be honest with you, Chris. I see Ricky Sosa stay, he's going to be here for a year.
Yes.
I don't see him going more than a year in TNA. And even if they were giving money, I don't see that, because I think the other companies will offer more money, more stability, more superstar status.
And that's what the kid's going to want, of course. He's gonna do the Javon Evans thing. Yes. Where I know Javon Evans wasn't really in AEW, but he's had a few dark matches with them, and he did a bunch of independents, and then he went to NXT and then blew up. I think the Ricky Sosa thing is going to happen with Javon Evans, or like the Javon Evans thing is going to happen with Ricky Sosa.
Okay, and Kev, I would say this, and it's a big thing for TNA right now. Like, and I keep saying, are you serious players? If you're gonna keep letting great talents go out the door, it's time to sell this company. And that's just
what they're gearing to. It looks like
possibly, because I know WWE has the right to first refusal. I understand that, and the WWE did that for a reason, because they know Tony Khan will come and buy this company. They know Tony Khan will come in over. He will come in coming with big pockets to oversell to keep the WWE from buying it. So if the WWE say, I know Anthem said the rumor is $40 to $50 million is the ceiling. That's the rumor I think I heard. Tony Khan will come in and say, I'll buy you for $100 million.
He said no, thank you, by the way.
TNA is not worth $100 million.
They're not. No, they're not.
They're not even worth the asking price that they want. That reportedly they want.
I agree with you. But Tony Khan will come in here and oversell it to do it. He would say, I'll give you $100 million. Just tell WWE to kiss off. That's what
I hope he learned his lesson with the Ring of Honor. He doesn't do that.
This the same man that offered, I think it was $9 billion to buy the WWE. He offered it. Like, he had a bigger offer than TKO Endeavor at the time. They just chose to go that way. Vince chose to go that way for other purposes. But Tony Khan had already put up $9 billion to buy the WWE. What is $50 million to this man? Nothing. It's a drop in the bucket.
So we can own the Ring of Honor and TNA library.
He doesn't have a TV.
What are they going to do with it?
That's what I'm. You're correct. I'm trust me. I'm not Tony Khan's consigliere or nothing.
Oh no, I know you don't. I know you're not up for that idea. I know you're just spitting on what you think Tony Khan might do. I know you wouldn't think that's right, but yeah. I mean. He did that with Ring of Honor, and I'll say the same thing. There's no value in Ring of Honor or TNA other than their libraries. If it's up for a big sale, the names of the show, Death Before Dishonor, Slammiversary, Bound for Glory, those don't have too much value like people think they do. It's the library that they're getting that's the big thing. And I honestly think WWE benefits more by having that library than an AEW. If we really want to, I think it's ridiculous and them getting sold either way. But now I'm going to face it because it's more likely to happen, right? WWE, in my opinion, would benefit from the library. They have half their fucking wrestlers there.
You make sense. I mean,
Kurt Angle's already in the Hall of Fame. You have Abyss, Bobby Roode. You have everybody that was in TNA in WWE. You have people leaving TNA to go to WWE. I think Tony's making, if he's dumb, which he is, but if he's that dumb to put a big offer for TNA and it happens, he's making a big mistake. And I don't want WWE to buy him either. But what's Tony going to do with the library? I can see what he does with the Ring of Honor library, and I think it's dumb anyway. What's he going to do with this?
Chris, the reason why he bought the Ring of Honor was to cock block the WWE, because WWE, let's face it, WWE does the best job of video package. If they would have had that Ring of Honor library, they would have showed Tyler Black his debut there.
Of course. That would have been perfect for the Black and Gold era. Yes, for the Black and Gold era, that would have been perfect.
And seeing them where they're on now, and seeing their trajectory, their story, and great video package, the way they use social media, that's why that library would have been much better hands in the WWE than in Ring of Honor, because Tony Khan doesn't even do good video packages for his own product week to week to remind you what stories are happening, let alone he's going to have, you're going to trust that company to go back into Ring of Honor and even TNA to tell the story. Well, you're going to find out the story of Jake Doyle?
See, I think Tony wanted Ring of Honor because he wanted to rebuild the brand. I don't think he just wanted the library. With this, he would be buying it just for the library, which is dumb.
I agree with you.
At least for Ring. I think him buying Ring of Honor, when he made the announcement, I was like, everybody in the building was happy. I'm like, dude, he's not buying it for the library. He's trying to revamp this shit up. He's trying to make this a legit promotion. He's not doing that with TNA. That's why I don't think he should buy it.
Correct.
It's pointless. You have it to use that library is just going to be sitting there doing fucking nothing. Like Kev said, at least in WWE, they can make their packages. Like I said, half of the TNA originals are in the fucking WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes. Even the
AJ Styles says he's never going to wrestle again. Let's just say in a fantasy universe he does. You don't think that benefits by having the TNA library? I mean, again,
that's also his Ring of Honor debut. Oh, he's not in Ring of Honor.
Well, there's a lot of Ring of Honor guys in WWE. Look, that WrestleMania package would have been. I'm surprised they got the rights to AFI's song. I'm so surprised, but because that's a Ring of Honor thing. But again, that package, I understand, because that package at WrestleMania would have been great to see Punk with the Ring of Honor, like they did at Revolution against MJF. That package was dope. They could do that shit with TNA. So if they're buying, my point here is, before we move on, if any company is buying TNA, it's for the library. It's not to revamp the product. Now, they're going to keep their AMC deal. If it's bought during their AMC deal, yeah, they're going to keep producing TV. What happens after that's going to be a big conversation. So that's just where I'm at with it. That's how I see it. But we'll see.
Yeah, go ahead, Kev. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go.
No, I brought it up because I want this company to be competitive. But if they're being handcuffed because Anthem has these debts and they're being cheap because they got these debts, they will never be competitive because the WWE is a machine amongst itself. In AEW, which Tony Khan is he's like a fairy godchild. He's Timmy Turner. He just makes a wish and gets a wrestler whenever he wants because there's no consequences to the money he spends. Like it's a fictitious place. Like that's the appeal of AEW. It's a fictitious place.
That was funny.
So I want Anthem to sit up here and make a choice. Man, sell this company to someone that will make TNA a real player, so they can actually keep talent. They can actually grow demographics. Because if you're not going to do that, it's just you're jerking people around. That's what you're doing. You will never shake the LOL TNA moniker that you get on social media because you're not serious people. Shout out to Logan Roy off Succession. They're not serious people.
Yeah, we'll see. But that's how Anthem Sports. The proof is that Victor FC is still around, and all the other major combat sporting company under Anthem umbrella, where they just do just enough. I think the ownership, they know they could have a profitable business, but they're not willing to make that sacrifice or the investment to go full blown with the finances. They could get themselves even quicker out of depth if they were to trust it, especially when the renaissance of wrestling that was hot right now, and right now that door is creeping closing. for the opportunity. They got into that gravy train with the TV deal, and they limit themselves. They could have been unlimited. Again, we talked about this time and time again. They lost a big demographic in New York City, being them last year. We spoke about this nauseating now for over a year now, and they didn't capitalize. So maybe that's what Anthem's vision, just enough, and we'll see what we could do down the road for TNA. It doesn't take away what they're giving us here right now, because that women's tournament given opportunities. I know the internet went bonkers with the independent wrestlers and that ladies that were announced. The Gome, Gabby LaForza, and as well as Vicious Vicky added to the tournament. Hey, it's a nice one and done for both of these ladies. That's the way I see it.
I agree, Brad. I agree.
Opportunity. That's all you want.
Opportunity. That's all I got. Opportunity.
Be impressive in your loss in that match to the ladies. Be very impressive. Tell the story with your match in the loss. You could still go over with not going over, and hey, put your name on the television. You never know. Look what it has done to Myers World.
There you go.
And High End. Mayan World and High End took advantage of two ladies that didn't want to go 3 minutes.
That's a joke. That's a joke in itself, but we'll keep on pushing.
Yeah. That's why they're single. They don't. Let's move on. Let's move on before we get into some real deep trouble here. For TNA, we'll see how that goes. It's the build now towards lockdown in Chicago, and this tournament is going to play out through the summer. With some of the matches, some of the number one contenders. We see Casey Navarro's getting that nice push now. Probably working it with Nick Nemeth. Chris, you see Navarro being Nemeth's first title defense? I don't want to see that right now. Yeah?
Yes, but I don't either. I agree.
Any chance of shocking the world?
Why not? No, but why not?
I mean, and trust me, in wrestling, we can always say why not. It's just the fact is we're gonna go to an established name like Nick Nemeth to lose so quickly.
If Casey didn't have that injury, maybe I'd change my mind. But I agree with Austin.
I just believe he doesn't have enough momentum to make it go that way. Now, if this was Leon Slater, we have a different discussion. But yeah, Casey Navarro doesn't have enough momentum to do that right now.
Wait a minute, aren't they like 1-1? Leon versus Nemeth, even though they weren't 1-1 in matches or each one got a pinfall on each other.
Because I know Leon beat him for the X Division title a few months ago on Impact. So
I think you're correct on that one.
Yeah, I think you are too.
Right.
I would love to see that, but how did they tell that story? Unless if Casey's going to the route of Ryan Nemeth and Leon with Nick, we will see what's going to play out for the next. What hurts this all there? I would be fully invested if Mike was still around just for 1 or 2 tapings before he leaves to help his friend Casey get over, endorse him, and then bow out of the picture. But he's not there. And of course, all reports, PWI and many others outlets are reporting that he's out of the company. He's not at the opening. Was not at the opening taping. His contract will be coming to a conclusion in the next few days. Before the 18th of July, why I say that because it's Saturday night's main event, and there is a great opportunity to debut on Mike Santana as Saturday night's main event. I don't know which way, or even in the Fanatics, and I don't know, Chris. I'm trying to think away. How do you?
I'll see what's announced for Saturday night's main event going forward, what it's looking like, and then maybe he can debut somewhere during there. But right now, I'm not sure. I'll be honest. I don't know how he's going to make his debut.
Yeah, you're asking a lot out of that, Kev. You're asking a lot because
I am because, but it's New York City. What a way of getting people. They'll know. Here's the why I said the house. The crowd will know who the hell he is. If you, because they're going to go next Friday night. They're going to be in Oklahoma. I'm using that example. No picking to Oklahoma. Mike Santana comes out in Oklahoma. They're like, who's this? Is there who? Did he escape the cornfields? Seriously.
Yeah. Okay. I get your point. I get your point. The thing about it is we're gonna rely on the spending power of New York on this one. because the NXT fan base, a lot of them, it's not as big on the main roster. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
So but we're banking on the New York wrestling scene to come spend money to be at Saturday night's main event for Mike Santana. So I mean, it's a gamble. It's 50-50 on that one. It's a good gamble though. That'd be a good gamble.
I think he'll be hit, but I don't know in what capacity. And please, for the love of love, don't let him be the guy underneath that Danhausen sheet.
Oh yeah, Danhausen versus Kit Wilson. That's right.
He says he's gonna have someone by his corner, which I think is the New York Knicks. To me, it's Jalen.
No,
Brunson
it's probably Jalen Brunson. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Knicks.
I mean,
he needs to. Yeah.
Would it be the worst thing if he debuted with Danhausen? No. Would it be the worst thing?
Not as a Frankenstein. I don't want my Santana as a Frankenstein.
I mean, I get that, but wouldn't he be on a trajectory to get over very quickly if he was tied to Danhausen? It's about getting over. That's what it's about.
I have fear about that, but you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but I don't want him to be turned into the fucking Miz.
The Miz is a Hall of Famer, a future Hall of Famer.
Yes. Okay. I don't want him to doing what Miz is doing right now.
The Miz is on TV every week, Chris.
Playing a fucking Frankenstein.
He's on TV every week. I mean, I get where you're going,
and I get where you're coming from, and I get
it could be worse.
Coming from.
It could be worse. He could be in the trios with Eddie Kingston and Ortiz.
Okay, that could be worse. That's worse.
We just had Joe Hendry come back, and we was wondering where he went for like weeks.
Again, I think we're both on the money on this, but because you're not wrong, he is on TV, but you're gonna have a guy that had all that momentum coming into WWE to play goofy shit.
He's not. That's not his character.
Well,
that's my only problem.
Yeah,
but I 100% agree when you say, but he'll be on TV.
But it's gonna be Bishop Dyer, Tom Pecker.
That's who I think it's gonna be.
Whatever you want to call him, Baron Corbin,
Tom Big Peck or whatever, Peck or whatever.
Prescott, excuse me. I'm sorry. I apologize. I know that
I'm not trying to butcher his name. I actually think he's incredible. I like Bishop Dyer. I don't mind him at all.
No, Bishop Dyer, Baron Corbin, Tom Prescott, the former NFL,
He's a hell of a martial artist too.
Yes, and a hell of a barista. By the way, yes.
And he loves grilling meats, and he's very big into the grill. Yeah, he does a whole thing on his Instagram where he just butchers meat and he just cooks steak, and that's something he loves.
He's the prince of burn ends. He likes to do some good burn ends.
Dude, they look good when he cuts them. When he takes them off the grill and he cuts and does his taste test, that shit looks good.
It is 4th of July, so we're on top.
Oh my God, he's probably grilling the biggest steak of his life right now.
And by the way, he's married to a Boricua too, so he knows.
There he goes.
That's good taste. That's good taste.
Shout out to Bishop Dyer.
But to bring it back to Mike, though, we're having a debate on: do we trust creative? How much do we trust creative? Because if he's tied to Danhausen, we have pros and cons here, but we just have the doubts on what creative is going to do. That's the biggest thing.
We're probably having a big talk of nothing. Maybe Santana won't even be there. He won't even be part of Danhausen, and it's a nothing. He'll probably end up in AAA.
That wouldn't be the worst thing for him either, though.
No. Triple A is on fire right now.
Yeah.
His opening feud, if he shows up in AAA, and I'm going to indulge it, his opening feud in AAA is going to be against El Messia, Ricky Banderas. 2 Puerto Ricans going at it in AAA. And I think they've been, and I think, Chris, I think they have wrestled in WC in Puerto Rico. I'm not too sure. I could be totally wrong. Because he was, I think, Santana during the injury or before the injury, he was their champion for a while. So I think Mike has experience with Ricky Banderas. I think they have good chemistry in the ring. Or even Lince Dorado at the debut squash match where Mike comes out. It could work. I think he has worked with some of the talents in AAA as well across the independent scene. So I could see that for him, and then you start building him and going there. And he could be on both. Speaking of AAA Haas, I don't know if you catch. I'm gonna go a little backwards. SmackDown last night.
Okay.
Vikingo versus Rey Phoenix, and this is when I want the fucking internet. I'm gonna go on a little bit around. When I want all these .nets, .orgs, body slams, your sister's ass, like
false finishes,
to fucking spoil something. They kept their fucking mouths quiet about a fucking great match. And I'm sorry for the cursing. That match was awesome, and they kept quiet. Meanwhile, they'll spoil everything else. I said it first. No, I did it first. You should have said, y'all need to watch that match. Because Vikingo and Rey Phoenix, for all the crying that Rey Phoenix don't get on television time, you guys should have been glazing and telling people to watch that match. That match was awesome, Chris. I'm sorry I had to go on a rant.
I loved it. I love Vikingo. I love matches. Real quick, because I'll be right back. But I love Vikingo, and obviously this is my type of match, right? With the Ao Hijo. I appreciate SmackDown giving us a little bit of the cruiserweight style, something that WWE. I don't want to say they don't like doing, but they have their own different ways of presenting their wrestlers. So I enjoyed this again as a fan of Vikingo, Rey Phoenix, and this style of wrestling. I think they did a great job, and it was something different for a pre-recorded Friday night. So good job. And I know I heard he suffered an injury, but I hope he appears more often on SmackDown. I think they could use those type of matches. And I think Rey Phoenix can use that to help chip away in his championship. He's a cruiserweight champion, right?
Yes.
So again, and that makes it better because this felt like a cruiserweight match on a show that doesn't really give us that. So I agree. I loved it. I loved it.
Kev, it just shows you that the .nets that you put out there, those sites or those handles, they don't care about wrestling. It's about the grift. The grift comes first. So whatever gives them traffic, that's what they're going to push. They're just like the content that they watch. It's just like Triple H. Like they say we might want to see more mid-carders, but that doesn't push the headlines. So that's all it is. They don't care about Rey Phoenix or Vikingo. They don't care. Like if they have millions of followers and it led to something, they'll push it. They don't care. That's all it is.
It's funny how they were crying that he doesn't get no Rey doesn't get no Phoenix. No, Rey Phoenix doesn't get no television time. Where is he? He went from Guantanamo Bay to Triple Bay. All that crap. And meanwhile, he has a match that it wasn't a filler match. It wasn't a throwaway match. It was a title defense. And in a match that, my goodness, they tore the house down. That was a great steal the show type of match, and not a peep, not a him, not a. Meanwhile, they spoiled everything on TNA in Full Sail. That I remember Jeff Cohen wrote and put every little thing down on the internet. Every little thing that happened, it wasn't nothing to write home about, to be excited or to tell people. And people are like, I know it. And they tell me, instead of writing, when I need someone to say, yo, go watch, even they don't have to say who wins or lost. You guys need to watch this match. It's at this time of the timestamp of the event would have been much nice because people would have tuned into that or looked out for that match. The fact that they kept quiet is I'm like, wow, pick and choose. I was very disappointed with them breaking that. I'm not saying I don't condone anybody spoiling anything for anyone, because if people don't have the time to see it at the moment, don't spoil it. It's like, oh yeah, there's gonna be a Supergirl too because this is. Don't do that. Don't be a dick.
Go ahead.
You just say, yo, you gotta stay for the end of the show of the movie because there are some cliffhangers that you're gonna be blown away, like the He-Man movie. Stay. Don't just leave, even if you didn't stay around, because that cliffhanger was really worth it. You didn't give any details. You say stay there. That they didn't even do that cost, and that was like, wow, can't believe that.
You're asking for integrity in this business sphere. That's the best way I can put it. You're asking for this integrity, and these people, they don't have it. They just want the traffic. Integrity be damned. They're like, we don't have any incentive to not spoil these people, because these people want to be spoiled. The majority wants to be spoiled, I'll say. A lot of people, the minority, I want to watch the show. The majority want to know everything right now because the 24-hour news cycle has conditioned us as such. So they have more financial incentive to spoil it than to have integrity.
Yeah. And by the way, I thought SmackDown it's the first 2 hours SmackDown. I like the thread throughout the show. I thought everything rolled well. I even the MFTs splitting up now with the Tongans. They keep talking about consulting an elder. That's a story that when they want to, they don't. Again, guys, let's have some long-term storytelling. We don't need to find out who is this elder yet that Tama Tonga keeps referring to and calling. We all know it could be Haku. It could be the High Chief Maivia, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. It could be that, he could be the High Chief. It could be, it's not many of the elders left around on the earth to put that two together. But let it play out, Haas. Let's have fun with it. Let's not jump into because when you get a Pat McAfee situation, it's like taking cod liver syrup. You don't want that right now. Let it play out. Let it simmer. Let it have the continuous soup. Let it boil into. Let it simmer. Let it get all together. And when they going to get that payoff in that story, who's the elders, it's going to work at the right time. So I appreciate that, and I like the fact that they're kind of going back to Finn Balor giving him something to do with Tama Tonga, also incorporating some of their past in New Japan Pro Wrestling, which I appreciate because now you're telling stories beyond the WWE borders. At least I perceived it that way. And I was like, you know what? I appreciate it in a Friday Night SmackDown that has a stereotype that is not good. It's a stereotype. Right now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to be in the minority. I'm going to be probably on the island on my own. SmackDown has been good, but it's got a stereotype that is not good show. And I hate to say that because it's like saying Asian people can't fucking drive and SmackDown is not good. And that's the stereotype they're in right now. And I'm going to be here. I disagree. I think it's been good. 2 hours is going to be even better. And they're going to be people, and I'm going to say this right now, around September, there's going to be people wishing they had 3 hour SmackDowns. And I'm not the one who wants that, but I know we're going to hear the vocal minority when it starts getting better. Oh, it's too short. Not enough time. You'll guarantee that because that happened the same thing last year.
Kev, I'd say to start off here with the MFTs. With the MFTs, I would say I would trust this storyline if TKO didn't run this company.
Okay.
If this was, I keep putting the specter of Vince McMahon. If it had just one singular owner, I'd buy that story. I believe it have longer legs.
Okay.
Because if Solo Sikoa finds his way back to the Bloodline Raw, I'm gonna just say Bloodline Raw. If he finds his way back over there, I can see Tama Tonga and Tala Tonga getting cut from this company more so than seeing an elder come and do something to see something come to fruition. Is that fair to say?
I'm not going to disagree with you. I can see where your point is. I can see your point.
Yeah, but what you're saying is not wrong. It's just the way TKO does it. They can have a new round of cuts.
Put it this way, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, they can have a new round of cuts come September, and they'd be like, oh, well, those guys aren't driving any ratings, so get them out of here. But the storyline dictated that they're not supposed to be here right now. But with SmackDown, you say SmackDown being a good show. Yeah, you are a man by yourself on that one, Kev. You are. I'm not saying that you're wrong. It's just a lot of the wrestlers on the show don't have any momentum. And that's because it goes back to just booking. The show is not terrible. The booking is. Like, no one had just they're trying to get Sami Zayn momentum. Sami Zayn might lose his belt on Monday. So if your champion doesn't, your overarching champion of the company, like we can have a debate that says whose belt is bigger, Roman's or Sammy's, but just for the title that says WWE champion, if he doesn't have any gravitas and he doesn't have any long-term play, the show that he's on doesn't have any momentum. So that's the bookings problem. With the women on the show, the women are at a standstill right now. The younger women can't be Paige and Brie Bella. They keep running into them and losing to them. We're talking about your girl JC Jane and them. The whole Fatal Influence. They can't beat them for some reason.
Although Laney Reed had a big victory last night.
Yep, there.
On that wonderful knee. That was
there you go.
Freaking impressive victory on her there.
And they were due for that one because for the last few weeks, Brie Bella and Paige had just had their number, so they needed that one in the worst way. Then you got Blake Monroe going after Julia, and that was a nice thing to see last week. Where are we? Like, who's going to get the momentum? Because this 50-50 booking is not going to do it. So I will reserve the right to say is SmackDown a decent show. I'm gonna give it to the end of the summer. I will give that to the end of the summer before I can just say it's bad or a good show. But you're not far off there. You know
the work that Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, Little Yachty is doing. Great job. And everybody doesn't want to give them the respect since Trick Williams has gone on SmackDown. From the if you like it or not, the Gingerbread Man was entertaining. If you didn't like it, that's on you. I'm going to talk about myself. I thought the Gingerbread with Little Yachty has been one of the best celebrity managers that have come out of 2026. They thought they were going to get this from Travis Scott. And this guy, Little Yachty, has gone above and beyond expectation and great. Talking like an older uncle last night. He's not old, but he just the mannerism, the dialect that they had along, even with Mello, hearing the crowd going cheering for Mello, getting invested in Mello. Finally, the chance that I used to hear in NXT back in the day in 2.0 from Carmelo Hayes, I heard it on the main roster finally. So I was very excited there. I like what I saw there, what's going on with Mello, Trick Williams, that Intercontinental title. I like what Mello's statement, I was carrying and making banger matches on this. And Trick Williams said, I just elevated to superstar status with just my West holding this. I loved all that back and forth with this dialect there. The 1 hour off is going to make the show better because now they got to get to their main plots, their main ideas. Again, I enjoyed seeing the backstage with Finn Balor because now it gave Finn Balor something to do because everybody was asking, now Finn back in here, what are we doing? Where's he going? Well, he's got now Tama Tonga. He's going to have that him and his brother. They have that issue there. Does Finn Balor get an ally? We don't know. Only time will tell on that. Secondly, I also enjoyed for Sami Zayn. He is doing some real good work. I'm not a fan of him. I can't stand. We don't know. I really got in my mind. Sami Zayn is not going to be a long-term champion. It's a Darby Allin type of deal. The same way you guys had the patience for Darby Allin winning the title, which was the mistake at that time and still is. I'm going to have the same energy over Sami Zayn. I got to see how it folds out. Could something interesting come out of it? We will see. Time will tell. But he's doing his work. He's doing his part on social media, running around town with the title in the front, riding it around town. It was when the swing with his kid, Baba is now a champion. So they're telling some stories there. And listen, it might not be for you to like at the moment. I'm not here to try to persuade you or tell you it's good, but there is a stereotype that I don't know if they're ever going to take it away from SmackDown being ever a good show ever again. That's my whole gripe. I think it's getting in the right direction. It's going well. One thing I'm not feeling, the possible unification of the AAA tag team titles with the SmackDown tag team titles. That right there, I'm like, I get the women NXT titles and the women tag team titles. I'm getting that kind of vibe, which I'm not feeling it. I'm not one bit feeling it. R-Truth was hilarious with the hot dog eating contest and all that. That's just comedy, levity segments. People like it. People don't have a sense of humor in the wrestling business this day at times. It is what it is. But I still, prior to that, I think SmackDown is pretty entertaining. Is it watchable? Not every bit of it. Not every bit of it.
There's some parts I like and some parts I don't. I think that's the best way for me to put SmackDown. There are some parts that I like and don't. I like Carmelo and Trick and Lil Yachty. That was cool. I guess I'll give him the props. The main event match was a big match, right? Cody and Jay. So it's I think 2 hours will help them into the show being more watchable. But if the booking can be a little bit better, I think SmackDown could be on the right track to be good again or watchable or whatever. Because I hear what you're saying. It's not all bad. It's just not all great. And I think some things this week, at least, there was a lot more good than bad.
I believe SmackDown just suffers from being on Friday night. It's just Friday night. Right. Friday night is just not a good day for wrestling like it used to be. Is that fair?
I know 100%.
Yeah, especially
I can't watch the Fridays until because I'm busy Fridays. I don't get to watch it till Saturday mornings on SmackDown.
Yeah, because most of the wrestling demographic are adults. Adults do things on Fridays. Yeah, like we watched it when we were younger because I mean we were younger men. We had less responsibilities at the time. Now, as adults, we got more things to do on Friday nights, and then that's the night that where we used to actually, to be with family or to be with friends or something. So wrestling suffers from that. And to go back to Sami Zayn, I'm not the biggest fan of Sami Zayn either. But if you're going to commit to this, I know you did it for Saudi Arabia. Commit to this to SummerSlam. There's no benefit to putting this belt on Cody Rhodes right now. There's no benefit other than putting another notch on Cody Rhodes' belt. Oh, he's a 4-time champion. He's not going to boost your ratings. He's not.
Let me ask that. Do you see that happening on Monday? We get a title change Monday? Because it's set up.
Nothing says they should. Nothing. I mean, other than Triple H's pride, there's nothing in wrestling logic, ratings wise or kayfabe wise, that says Sami Zayn needs to lose this belt right now. Nothing. Like if this was like the Monday Night Wars and we had people from WCW coming to watch the watch the product, and you could probably get an upswing of 1 million viewers. Sure, go for it. Cody Rhodes is not moving that needle at all. Because first of all, you're gonna have people asking, why are these two SmackDown guys on Raw? I don't want to hear because they're in Chicago. If they're in Chicago, that means another guy should be debuting again who's been off for months.
He is going to be there. CM Punk will be there.
He will be there.
You could see that. You could feel it that he's going to be there.
Right. But still, that still doesn't explain why the WWE Championship is being defended on Raw when it's a SmackDown title.
Well, they kind of did because it's Adam Pearce running the show because Nick Aldis was too stupid to get himself suspended, putting his hands on, getting back and forth with Gunther. So now Adam Pearce is taking liberties where he shouldn't and booked that match for his show. That's the story. And they kind of said it on SmackDown. Okay. They kind of said it when he asked him and said, "Why on Monday?" Like he goes, "Because I'm in authority. Nick Aldis isn't really here." So he kind of said, your GM wasn't so stupid, I'm gonna take advantage and put it on my show. So they're kind of teasing a SmackDown versus Raw type of deal where the general manager's taking liberties, and one general manager's consequences for putting his hands and getting it with Gunther is that title now is going to be put on Monday for that time. And he made that match for Monday, and Sami Zayn doesn't feel great about it, which is a story within a story. If you look at it that way, I perceived it. At least my beauty of the eye beholder, me as the beholder, saw it that way. He's taking, and he kind of said it like, "Why am I doing it on Monday? I'm not a Raw. I'm a SmackDown talent. Well, I'm the general manager." So I'm like, "Oh, I got it right there. Enough said. Authority figure." So I liked it there. I really I liked it there. Do I see what's going on, Hassan? I don't know if the title's going to change, Haas. I could see Jacob Fatu helping Sami Zayn here retain his title, where Jay will be like, "You didn't help me. Why are you helping him?" Tribal chief orders. Because Sami Zayn did say he's still part of the bloodline, and last we saw, he did cover favor he was an honorary Uso. So if they want to go that way, if they tell that story, I'm okay with it. But again, I'll go back what you say. I don't trust creative to do it.
Yeah, because I'm going right back when you said about Pierce. Because if Pierce pulled a power move like that, it seems heelish intent from a general manager to do such. Oh, do I trust creative to make Adam Pearce a heel GM? Not at all. So I can't. I'm with you. I can't say they went that deep into it. But if they were to go with this so-called bloodline story, you're gonna have so many people pissed that you're gonna tie Sami Zayn back to these people. Man, they're gonna cry bloody murder, Kev. They're gonna cry. And it's going to be led by other content creators that we're not going to name, but you know who I'm alluding to, because he's going to be highly upset. But so if you go that route,
let me ask this one. When SmackDown had the highest ratings, that it was the hottest show on the WWE market, and everybody wanted. Who was the head of the show?
Yeah, Roman, Brock Lesnar, those two guys on Fox.
And yeah, that's why they're leading that route. That's why they're on top right now. They're trying to rekindle the magic. Now, you could agree to disagree if that's the right move. We could agree with that. It could be the wrong move. You're going back, but if they tell a different story, a different aspect, a different story and different angles, it could still work. Which leads me to, like you said, Brock Lesnar. Everyone is up in arms that Brock Lesnar returns here in Monday Night Raw, where we see Obafemi, our newly crowned King of the Ring, has the crown in his hands, and he's about to make a choice. The Beast music interrupts, gets in the ring. I paraphrase. I don't watch the product. Heyman told me you're King of the Ring, and you've been talking a lot about me, and you didn't say nothing in my face. One thing you don't see, boom, a kick in the nuts. Well, Obafemi forgo his chance. He was so mad that he says, this crown, I have this ticket to wrestle you. I know people saying, oh, it's a Money in the Bank situation. I get you. I get it. But he says, you kick me my jewel. The title will always be there at any time I have the right to it. I want you, and they're going to set up in a Hell in a Cell match. My wife hasn't watched Monday Night Raw in quite some time for a while. We happily watched Friday Night SmackDown yesterday and all that. They didn't know when they did the video package. She goes, damn, that match is big. Like, it's great for Oma. She didn't even know that they already had matches prior to. Wow, Oma's fighting, bro. Wow, that's a big deal. So for a casual from the female perspective, he said that's a big deal. I am okay that he's not going to wrestle for the crown at SummerSlam. I'm all right with it because he's still going to get his title opportunity. I don't know about you.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you why I hate it. Because you made us go through watching the King of the Ring tournament for not. Like, we know you're supposed to get a title shot at SummerSlam. And I'm not one of these people that say that Oba should beat Brock on Saturday and go beat Roman on Sunday. I'm not one of those crazy people. But you should not have let him go over in the King of the Ring if you was going to play this part. That shows me that you're grasping at straws and you're scrambling. That you have no long-term vision for this man. So we're just gonna do stuff. That's just what we're doing. And you make Oba look foolish. Like, I understand, like, the only reason we're doing this because Brock is down the pipe, which we could have just we could have just had, if you want Oba to do something big, have him beat Brock at SummerSlam. He could have just won Money in the Bank. Why would you have him win King of the Ring? And he's not even going to wear the crown anymore. First of all, that's my biggest beef there. We're not going to go with King Oba the ruler. We're not going to do that for long term. Now you make him move his title shot to TBA. It's bad. It just shows you they have no long-term plan for him. They just say, oh, he's a star. He's this, he's that. Well, treat him like one. You wouldn't treat other people like this, but you were like, oh man, we're just going to push it back. Oh, you trust us. We're the WWE. This is what we do. What you do is bullshit us. That's what you do. So I don't trust creative to play ball like this. They don't play ball right, Kev. That's my thing with it. That's why I hate it.
I want to add this to Chris and ask you this. Obafemi, he calls himself the ruler, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if he conquers the Beast in the Hell in a Cell, his first promo outside of Hell in a Cell, I conquered the Beast. I told you I'm your ruler, and I'm got the crown. To now I'm going after the world title in my kingdom. Does that give you legitimacy and making you wait?
It can. They could play it off. They could they could definitely play it off like that. But I don't hate it. I'm more confused than anything because I know we didn't want to see Jey Uso, or multiple people didn't want to see Jey Uso win and go against a Cody or Roman, but that's what we're getting. We're getting the result. We're kind of getting it, not really because you have Cody, okay, let me rephrase it. Not really because you have Jey in the #1 contender and he lost to Cody. But if you had Jey just win the King of the Ring and had him go against Cody, I think this helps, or this doesn't make Oba or the story look kind of confusing. I think Oba could have just won the Royal Rumble, in my opinion. I know Money in the Bank, all that. I think he could have just won the Rumble and fought whoever they wanted at WrestleMania. So I'm not gonna hate on it. I'm gonna see how they get to Obafemi challenging Roman, whoever is champion after SummerSlam. But I could see people's raise the eyebrow on, well, he won King of the Ring and they're not. I can see that because again, I think if you just had Jey Uso win the King of the Ring, as much as people would have hated it, I wouldn't have been the biggest fan of it myself. I still think it would have made sense of what they're doing now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because they buried the King of the Ring, just like Brock buried the whole product, but said, I don't watch the TV. You're one of your biggest stars ever. Our first ballot Hall of Famer said he doesn't watch the TV show. Burial. Then you got Obafemi. You win King of the Ring. Oh, your title shot? Oh, we're just gonna wait on that one. What's the point? That's the point. You buried the whole bracket. I mean, everybody that was involved with this, because you're telling me if Jey Uso won the King of the Ring, would they push his title shot back? If Javon Evans won this, would they have pushed his title shot back?
No, because they weren't going to win.
Better example.
Neither ones weren't going to win.
Better example.
Even Seth Rollins weren't going to win.
I was just about to say, if Seth Rollins won, would they have pushed his title shot back?
But he wasn't. All those talents that you're mentioning, they weren't going to win. Obafemi, if he gets that opportunity, I think is going to win. And I don't think they were ready to pull that trigger. I think they're going to do it. You know when they're going to do it, Haas?
Go ahead.
They're going to do it at the WrestlePalooza in September. That's when Obafemi will be challenging for the world title, because that's the 1 year anniversary of a TKO Mark Shapiro event that it's not a Vince. Remember how he said we want to move away from Vince McMahon type of events, PLEs, and we want to create our own. That's where, and they're going to create their own champion in Obafemi winning that title, regardless of his old Roman or
Cody,
Sammy, whoever is going to be at that WrestlePalooza, because that's their event and their guy, and that's not a Vince guy, and that's their guy, and that's how they're going to kind of cleanse from the McMahon, a McMahon type of talent. That's the way I see it.
Okay.
I could be totally wrong. I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm just saying, I'm giving you my point of view. Would it be? And I don't think I don't think they were going to make a title change to SummerSlam. That's just me.
I mean, I could buy it. I can buy it, but it's just it was a waste of our time. That's the biggest thing we can't.
I could see that.
It's just because we all got so excited for King of the Ring and for Obafemi to be crowned, and we got.
But he still is the king.
I mean,
he still is the king. He's on a side quest in the Hell of the Cell, though. That's a brutal match against the Brock Lesnar. They're giving you a good consolation prize. They're not giving you a boo-boo prize.
But think about what you just said. We're giving the King of the Ring a consolation prize. It's bad. It's bad optics. It's bad optics.
It's an alternative to that. It's like the Money in the Bank. We don't know when the hell they're gonna cash it. Some people wanted to cash on Friday Night SmackDown. Some people wanted to cash on a Saturday Night Main Event. Some people wanted to cash it at a PLE. It's just, and I know each prop should stay to what I get it. I totally get the purist. I'm a big pure. I love purism. Purism in wrestling, to me, it's got to stick. But this here, I just didn't want to see Obafemi lose in like a freaking like a dumbass, counted out, disqualification, whatever. And there was no one else to fit that story. Like Obafemi. It would have been great if Obafemi was going to do a slam and someone grabbed his foot and hold his foot down on the rope. That's why managers are freaking important. That should have been Paul Heyman's. That's why managers in wrestling still mean important. They could have easily gotten out of that where Paul Heyman, or even in the bloodline, even if it was Jey Uso, they could have had someone hold the foot and Obafemi couldn't kick out underneath. Referee didn't see it, and they weren't creative. Again, that goes back to creative. They dropped the ball.
And Kev, the biggest kick in the dick right now is Cody Rhodes got a title shot on Monday. Yes. We got CM Punk who's going to come back into the fold. He's going to get a title shot very soon. He may get one as early as Saturday night's main event, maybe SummerSlam. Those are two competitors in front of Obafemi. Now, just say we might get another title defense for either one of these titles on Saturday night's main event. It could be Roman, it could be Sammy, whoever has the belt. That's three guys. We're steady pushing Obafemi, the King of the Ring, to the back of the line.
No, you're making great sense. I can't.
It's like I say, it's just bad optics. That's it, because it just, I don't know. I know he's young. I know he's a future star, but you know how many times we heard this before? Anything can happen. God forbid he gets hurt. God forbid he gets in legal trouble. Anything Anything can happen between now and whenever he gets a title shot. This is just bad. And then it didn't make the show bad. It makes creative bad because they get paid too much money to be making questionable calls like this because they're not consistent. They don't have the balls to say this is the route we're going and you're going to like it or not. Of all things, wrestling fans want consistency. Whether if it's good or bad, they want consistency. And since WrestleMania 40, we haven't had it. And it just keeps snowballing. It just keeps going.
Because to me, I'll say it again. And then I think there was a report out. I don't know which one of the .nets and .orgs, .coms mentioned it. There is a division within the creative or the power in the WWE again. And we've seen that from WrestleMania 40. I've said this many times. I told you that if they once they went with the crowd, once they allowed Dave LaGreca and those trolls on the internet to cry and change the main event from Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns and The Rock, and I said it and I told that to Midfit Podcast. Shout out to the Midfit Podcast Nation. We talked about this so much on that WrestleMania 40 before that. Once they went that route, wrestling was never going to be the same. They let them control the narrative. Chef Dan as well. We mentioned that. We talked about it. And look, we're reaping right now. We're reaping with their stupidity of what they sold, allowing the fan base to change the narrative, change a pivot to, and we get the new character in the WWE called Pivot Levesque. And now everything is pivot, and nothing goes. They should have trucked through, and people would have. You have to sometimes make the tough decisions so people could fall in line, and they didn't. And now we're reaping this because now they're so dissension. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. One hand, what leg, who walks right, who walks left, and right now wrestling is in a mess. They took that great positivity they had in 4 and 40, and they're slowly letting the air out of the balloon, and the balloon is getting deflated, and it's
And I'm tired of everybody comparing every new thing to Mick Foley. Like let's stuff be its own thing. Like Darby Allin is Mick Foley. Sami Zayn is Mick Foley. Like no. Mick Foley happened because the Monday Night Wars was going on. They wanted something spontaneous and something big to happen, and it happened. That won't happen again because wrestling is not as big as it was back then. If we could pull, if WWE or AEW, any company could pull 9 million people on a random night, they would shit their pants to do it. They would go suck any sultan's dick to do that. They would do that. They can't dream of getting 9 million people to watch this product today. So until that happens, Sami Zayn is not no Mick Foley. But what we can do is we can make good on Sami Zayn, and we can actually make some new ride or die fans out of it. Like I'm not a big fan of Sami Zayn, but I can't argue that he's less boring than Cody Rhodes.
I can't argue because one of the things that I've told Kev this forever. The reason I don't like Sami Zayn is because he's been the same shit ever since he came into the doors in Canada. The same underdog, chase it character for years and years. So I could appreciate him doing something different.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed his bloodline stuff. So I don't hate what he's doing. I will give him that because there's no question that he's phenomenal. I think he's one of the best in the ring in that company has. I never once doubted that. I never once argued with that. It was Sammy's character that I didn't really get over for the past 7 years. And I think he's doing, he has some moments where he does it pretty well, bloodline, and then some moments like the Johnny Knoxville stuff that's just I think now he's at the point back in his, character run where it's like, I want to see where this goes. But if he beats Cody on Monday, that's huge.
Yes, it is.
That's huge if he beats Cody on Monday.
That means however it happens, that means you get a vote of confidence from the people that are booking this show.
And it makes Sammy look stronger to me.
Yeah.
Because, again, he's in that main event scene on SmackDown. He beats Cody on Raw and goes to SmackDown and brags, yada, yada. Oh, so you guys were booing me, huh? This could be something.
It could be.
And I don't like this coming from a guy who does not like Sami Zayn. I don't give a shit about his political stuff. It's because of his wrestling, by the way. I just want to get that very clear. So I can see that. I don't mind it. But he needs to win Monday in order for me to actually believe in the Sami Zayn championship run, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Because I'm hotter cold on wrestlers these days. It's just the truth. Like I was a fan of Cody Rhodes coming out of 40. The story was fine. Now he's boring as shit. Sami Zayn, I mean, he's not the greatest wrestler. He's not the most interesting. He's hotter than Cody Rhodes right now. It just is what it is. He's hotter than Gunther right now. And you got to let this ride. Like, because you actually have a higher variable to improve ratings with Sami Zayn. I know that's far-fetched as hell for me to say, but you got a higher possibility to get higher ratings with him right now than putting that belt back on Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
you know what Cody Rhodes is. You know it's steady and it peters out. That's what happens.
Now, what's Cody going to do on SmackDown? I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is a genuine question of mine. What's Cody going to do on SmackDown if he's, and I always had this problem in this question, what's he going to do on SmackDown consistently that's good without him being fighting for the world title or him being the undisputed world champion? Those are my two questions. Well, that's my main question. What is he going to do? What's Cody Rhodes without being involved in the world title scene?
We need to find that out.
We need to find out.
Yes, and the truth it is, he's not that interesting because a lot of people have been saying, I'm not the only one that's saying it. The man is a glorified mid-carder. That's what he is. He's not a main event player. This was the same guy that was Stardust 10 years ago. You just don't become what the hell they selling him as without a big push or big help. Even with the big major push, his pushes have had shelf lives in two different companies. AEW got sick of his ass. WWE is sick of his ass because he will not adapt. He will not change. And Sami Zayn said the realest stuff yesterday. He says, you're addicted to this. Sami Zayn said that, and I don't think Cody was ready for that talk. I think that was off the cuff. And Cody, if you go back and look how his face looked, Sami Zayn told some truth there. Cody Rhodes, he gets high off his own supply because you're not that marketable, buddy. You're not. Like, you're a decent looking man, but you're not the greatest looking man. You don't have the biggest physique, and then you're just bleached hair and you sell the American flag. We've had bigger, better wrestlers sell the American flag.
Any of them getting tattooed on their neck?
Let me tell you something, brother.
Oh, somebody,
no, but
we're on the 4th of July topic, so
yeah, shout out
to Hacksaw.
Tough guy. Let me say this: when I saw Cody Rhodes come out against Jey Uso, and everybody was cheering the wall, and then he took out his weight belt, and he took it to give it to the young kid, and the kids lit up and go there. I go, see, this is where Cody belongs, chasing, and then the crowd favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And we just finished shouting out one of the greatest fan favorites of professional wrestling, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Duggan never won a world title. Roddy Piper never held a world title. I'm not saying that that's a different era. I get it. You want to see your champions. But there's nothing wrong with being a major, super over fan favorite. I think in the next year or two, I think that's where Cody Rhodes needs to start transitioning to. Becoming that.
Oh, I agree because I don't look his runs with the world title are getting boring to me, and I don't like using that word that much. But there's just nothing going on with him. He says the same shit. What do you want to talk about? And he says the same shit to get the crowd rally behind him. This is where he's right. No, he's 100% right. That's why I'm fucking with this new Sami Zayn just a little bit because he's not telling him when we're telling lies. As CM Punk likes that. He's not telling any lies, but. And I've said this since probably the first show I did with you that we talked about Cody Rhodes. At this point, the only way I see Cody Rhodes influencing anything is him being a fucking heel because he is good at being a heel, but WWE will never pull that trigger because of what Kev just said about the little kids and that.
I don't think he wants to do heel work.
I'm gonna tell you this. Let me tell you this, guys. Like we're gonna see this true test happen when we get Cody and Punk, and you're gonna see a real test of face versus face. It's not gonna go down like Roman and Punk did. Those two fan bases, they clashed, and it's tough. Cody Rhodes is gonna be really exposed out here because Punk is way more star power than Cody Rhodes. A lot of Some people think it's comparable. It's not even close. And when you start hearing those eruptions for Cult of Personality over Kingdom, American Nightmare, whatever you call that damn song, it's going to be night and day. And WWE is going to have a problem on their hands because Cody can't out-talk CM Punk. He can't beat him with gravitas. And the fans are going to let them know that at every arena they go to. If Cody doesn't have a refresher by then, he's going to have to turn heel because he won't be able to recover from it. Because they're going to have Punk beat him. Like, unless Cody has the belt, Punk is going to beat him. And even if Cody does have the belt, they're going to have some long nights in that creative room like, man, CM Punk is bigger than him. Like, he should take that belt off of him. So it's going to be some soul searching for creative when they do make it happen. It's going to be soon.
Let me ask this, and we'll wrap up soon. Do you see? Does it need a title? First and foremost,
no.
Not to start. No.
So do we get that? And second question, follow. Do we get that at SummerSlam?
Just a match or for the belt?
Just a match with no title.
Yeah. Yes.
That could main event night one. Oh no,
yes.
unless Lesnar and Oba are main eventing night one. But
I think they're not on night one.
Yeah, Lesnar and Oba main eventing night one. And then I can see if they keep the belt on Sammy, Sammy's going to be in that Jey Uso role. He's going to be start headlining either night one or night two.
Or
he has to.
Or Jey Uso had no problem opening as world champion night one or night.
Neither did Gunther. Yeah, Gunther didn't have a problem opening shows when he was world champion.
You know, only wrestling fans get into the minutia of like, oh man, you started off the night, you didn't main event and all that. That's wrestling. That's fodder for people like us. But the wrestlers don't have no talks like that.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. Yeah,
not anymore. I was about to say in the 2000s. Yeah, that's all they talked about. Because if you weren't getting paid unless you were high on the card.
But that was different because
I know that's what I'm saying. Not
anymore. The pay was different.
Yeah,
now everybody gets. Now everybody has a contract to get paid no matter if you open the match or the second match. Yeah,
it doesn't matter. No, I agree with you guys 100%. Yeah, it's not like it was back then because I listened to Jericho's podcast. He talked about like if if I didn't main event WrestleMania with Triple H, I wouldn't have gotten that paycheck.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, no, I agree. It's not that we're not there anymore. So I don't give a shit really. I personally and I don't understand why people hate on opening matches like MJF. Why does he open the matches, bro? You want to sometimes start your show off hot. Like I get it. You could have your shit in between. I always like it. Start off hot, have your shit in between. So the crowd, whatever the crowd likes, it doesn't, and then you get people back up at the end. That's how I always preferred things. So. And I don't care. I think if they go whatever spot they were to go on, if it happens, it'd be fine.
It's like they say on Busted Open. It's like a music concert. You know, you go in whatever favorite artist, whatever genre of music, they always start off with a song that hot and get the crowd clapping and getting and dancing to the old people want to relive it, and then they sometimes throw some ballads. They level it up, and then when they're about to finish them, they're big. They give you one of their most popular songs that everybody's going crazy, feel good, and in the show, and then instead of it's a 7-minute song, it turns out to be a 14-minute because everybody has a little bit extended version of your favorite song, and I think that's how wrestling is.
Yeah, that's a great comparison. As somebody that goes to concerts, that's a great comparison. Yes.
Oh, trust me, when you see these PLEs and pay-per-views, all these companies seem to struggle with formatting these days, and that makes the wrestlers get restless, if that makes sense, because you would like to know where you're going to be on the card. And if it was up to me, I would rather be first or last on the card than say I'm the 6th match on a 10-match card. So,
and speaking about anxiety, restless, nervousness, my final thought, are we going to see Rhea Ripley vacate her title? Because we have not heard a peep.
Nothing
seen her for at all. So I'm wondering if this injury is really severe.
It has to be because what are we gonna have without I mean, if Rhea vacates that title, I don't. What are they gonna do? A tournament or something? Or that's the only thing that But of course, if she's her and she, that's the thing you got to do. I'm not I'm not going to knock or come at Rhea for that if she has to do that. But it's gonna. I wonder what they're gonna do with that. But does she vacate her title? I mean, she kind of not has to, but if she's not Monday, if we don't see anything from her Friday, yada yada, and there's no real like clues on weekly television that Rhea might be coming back, I think she should. And again, this is not her first time doing it, so I feel bad that she even has to be in this position because she had to do it when she won it the first time.
Creative is lazy. I think they're gonna keep kicking this can down the road close as they can to SummerSlam. And if she has to vacate that title, it may be a week or two in advance, and then we end up with a big ladder match at SummerSlam for the women's championship. They're lazy.
SummerSlam has never been shy to do ladder matches. They've been doing that for. I mean, one of the very first inaugural ladder matches for the Intercontinental title, Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels gave birth in SummerSlam. So they're not opposed to it. They could spin it where we're gonna get a callback to the original where it started at SummerSlam. We're getting a ladder match for the women's title. I'm not gonna be opposed with it until I see which are the ladies that are determined, that are dignified to be compete for that ladder match.
Kev,
that's the problem.
Kev, I tell you this. Think about this. Why you think we didn't have a title change at Night of Champions for with Tiffany and Jade? These are the breadcrumbs they're sending. Who helped Tiffany win? Charlotte. Those are two women right there. They're gonna put in the ladder match. You go throw JC Jane in there. That's 3. They might just throw Chelsea Green in there just for experience. 4, and then
she's willing to take those bumps, Haas.
Right.
Chelsea will do those crazy spots off the ladder. If you look at her Slammiversary matches prior to that, you might be right. You might even have Blake Monroe.
Well, I think it's too early on Blake. Too early. I think they'll put
a ladder match just to showcase her. Alexis Bliss, just to showcase. They'll throw
Io in there if she don't beat Liv. They'll throw Io in there.
No, Io will be taking on Liv on that night for SummerSlam. This is for SummerSlam.
Oh, if Rhea has to vacate, they'll pivot that. They'll change that.
That's what I'm saying. I think we're getting that at SummerSlam for that vacated title. Some type, and I wouldn't be surprised if Stephanie McCare comes back and wins that title there.
Fair.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Oh yeah, what the fuck is up with her?
I don't know. Like
that's one name I completely forgot about.
Her injury may be bigger
and Stephanie McCare are totally incognito, nothing on social media. You don't even see. Before you used to see her boobs, you used to see her butt. You don't even see nothing from her anywhere. Like they're totally like they fell off the face of the earth.
They might be doing a whole creative reset with her because she even came out and say she's bigger than the devil's kiss. That may have been the kiss of death for her. You can't come out and say that to wrestling fans. The wrestling fans, they like what they like. If they like you doing the devil's kiss, you got to keep doing that. So I think it's a whole creative reset. And if she don't come out hot, I mean, coming out the gates like maybe the first couple weeks, it may be curtains for her in this company too. And she was a fan favorite. So
I hope she comes back speaking better English.
You're asking a lot there, brother.
Not for the time off. She could be taking English classes and getting better. Julia's gotten, and I want to give this. I know we were going to wrap up. Don't forget, 5:00. I will be coming live back again with Luke Menzies, formerly known as Rich Holland. We'll be having a interview, and we have some announcements, some about his career, his future, and yada, all that good stuff. You're going to hear it from the horse's mouth himself. My guest or my co-host guest. Luke Menzies, you got to tune in on that at 5:00. My thing is with Julia's English has gotten so much better. I love the way she cut that promo, even though she got attacked by. I'm more into Julia now because she's perfecting and she's putting a bigger effort in her English. I'm gonna say this right now: her English is much better than Asuka.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell she put a concerted effort in it over the last even maybe the last couple of years. Asuka came in at a different time. Asuka, she didn't have to focus on it like that. Like, okay, just do physical comedy and it works. So that it's just a different day now. That's all it is. The same thing when Kairi Sane first got here. Io Sky, like her English has gotten better. It's just her tone, it kind of throws off her English as well. Like she can speak it. it's like the way she speaks, it just throws it off. Julia, it just sounds like it comes more natural to her than any of her other cohorts.
And we need that from her, because if she starts talking better English, we're gonna start caring more for Julia. That's why I'm hoping Stephanie Becker as well has that next effort in her English. You know, that's absolutely. So I can't wait to hear from Stephanie's first promo, see if there's an improvement in her English, which I think it is. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised, especially if the rumors are true. If the WWE is going to add Persephone, that's going to be a tough one for Becker to stay on top if you bring in a Persephone, because she speaks very well fluent English. She's from here. She's a Mexican American who speaks the language, both language well and marketable. So that's something in the pipeline in the future that Stephanie Becker needs to get her P's and Q's in order, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree. Stephanie, and for as popular and as much as many people love her, she got to learn that shit quick, man.
She's got to talk us. The same thing with Julia. I think that's what hurt Julia for not connecting. Now I'm like, oh, I want to see more Julia. And I think the Blake Monroe feud with her, because they're gonna have hardcore wars, and I think that we're gonna get some Yoshi Haas on WWE TV between these ladies, and we're gonna be like, right now, I don't care who wins or loses. I just need them to go out there and be like, oh, damn, these ladies killed each other. I think we're gonna get that feud, Haas, that blood feud, that Yoshi feud.
I agree with you, and I believe Blake Monroe is going to skyrocket past all these women by the end of the year. Every last one of them. Every last one of them.
Yes. Plus, she's a near and dear admirer of Triple H. She's already a step ahead. I mean, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this too. Triple H is gonna make it his personal mission because he has eyes on AEW. Long as Tony Storm is not participating right now, he's gonna push Blake Monroe up the card so quickly just to stick it to him every week.
We'll see. We shall see on that there. With that there, I want to tell everybody this. Have a happy 4th of July. Make some steak, some burgers, some hot dogs, some chicken or vegetables, grilled vegetables, or whatever you have. Make sure that you keep everything refrigerated with mayonnaise. You don't want to get food poisoning or sick. You don't want. If you do, please use dude wipes. Of course, I'll make sure you use dude wipes. If it starts crashing down and it hurts inside, make sure you use your promo code. Use our promo code as you see scrolling down there to save 20% off your dude wipes. Yes, dude wipes. Stay fresh, stay clean, stay ready. Thank you for Blackout Coffee, also being part of the Sports Jedi Network. Wake up, stand up, never back down, and unapologetic. So get your Blackout Coffee. They have a special $17.76 dark roast on sale, as well as a special $2.50 roast for Blackout Coffee. Use my promo code SportsJedi20 to save an additional 20% off that offer. So you really can get the coffee at a good price there. Make sure there you support a patriotic company. I tell you, I'm waiting to taste my 2A, the Second Amendment blend, the dark roast from them. I haven't gotten yet. They haven't been on my local Publix, so maybe I order online, get it to us, and I'll let you know how that tastes. So with that said, man, Chris, stay safe.
Yes.
Don't blow firecrackers.
No, it's way too hot. Way too hot for that shit right now.
All right. And Haas, I know you. Be safe, but be careful how you blow your firecrackers there, my friend. You know, you're a little ladies' man.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang. But all kidding aside, stay safe. But guys, remember, I always tell everybody this. If you're consuming, make sure you get an Uber. Make sure you're not drinking and driving. I know it's early right now, but you start drinking with the heat. Stay fluid, stay a lot of drinks, stay conscious of where you are, always be aware of your surroundings, because everyone, especially little kids with the firecrackers and the lighters and the fire safety, want to make sure you're safe and all. And I'll see you within an hour and a half with Luke Mendes, and we'll be back here. Of course, the guys, Dynamite Bros. Don't forget MLW Report with Jeff Littman and Mr. Thomas on Mondays. They got a big one here. Give a quick. We're gonna have a Southern Crown champion on a bunkhouse tonight. So we're going to get a new inaugural champion in MLW. Mr. Thomas, Mr. Littman will be breaking all that down. We got some debut matches against Allen Angels, We got some great up and down. I can't wait to hear their breakdown, their assessment of the MLW card. Don't forget, we're continuing to expand and grow. We'll be having some NWA content with the Alliance podcast, collaborating with us as well, part of the Sports Jedi Network. We're getting that up and working together. So we are going to get some NWA, not from the Sports Jedi, but from our friends that are going to collaborate with us that bring on the Sports Jedi Network. And we're going to hear some National Wrestling Alliance, which I want to hear some because I can't have the time to watch it. So I want to hear their takes, their breakdown of the National Wrestling Alliance and hear what they got to say. So I'm excited with that there. Again, don't forget to also check out the Square Circle podcast, Marie Shadows. Also, check her tape studies. Support Marie Shadows, all her tape studies and all there. I'll put everything, all the descriptions in the video. You can follow her on Instagram, Marie Shadows. All that stuff. We'll get all that situation so you can follow her. Let's get her platform growing as well because we want her to come on and talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling on our channel as well as our friend. Thank you, Aaron Loves Wrestling. Thank you for the Small Section Podcast, Talking the League, MMA Weekly Report or Octagon Report with Austin, all our products, all our shows that we continue to grow. We'll talk to you soon. May the sports be with you. Happy 4th of July. Don't forget Garden of Thoughts as well with Jeff Littman. Will be coming up Sunday as well. So talk to you guys later.